Celestial Immortal Clan. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76, All Things Have Spirits. Seeing Lin Changqing put the amethyst scorpion back into the spirit insect bag, Lu Yaoqiang's family immediately surrounded him. In fact, when Lin Changqing took the ball of spirit wine out just now, they smelled the fragrance, but they didn't dare to come over because the amethyst scorpion was here. Now the whole family surrounded Lin Changqing, and Lu Yaoqiang was even more excited and kept shouting yo-yo. He also expressed his eagerness through the master servant's contract. Lin Changqing knew that Lu Yaoqiang wanted to break through the second level very much, and now he himself was hesitating whether to let him break through. Maybe Lu Yaoqiang also felt Lin Changqing's hesitation. After shouting yo-yo twice loudly, he squatted on the ground in front of Lin Changqing, with his whole body lowered and leaning against the ground, just like when he subdued Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing looked at such a spiritual creature in front of him, and he had already made a decision in his heart. He reached out and touched its forehead and antlers, just like when he subdued it. He took out the Zuinun heavy water bottle, and then took a ball of Beihuzuhen wine that was 5 times the amount of key refining stage, and gave it to Lu Yaoqiang. Afterwards, Lu Yaoqiang rubbed Lin Changqing's hand with his head, and soon fell into deep sleep. When he wakes up, he will most likely break through the second level. Seeing Lu Yaoqiang fall into deep sleep after taking the 100 flowers intoxicating wine, Lu Xiaoya and Lu Xiaoling were even more excited, surrounding Lin Changqing and shouting yo-yo, non-stop. Especially Lu Xiaoling, she went straight into Lin Changqing's arms and licked Lin Changqing's face with her tongue. She was so enthusiastic that Lin Changqing felt embarrassed. There was no choice but to cut a zu fruit into 2 halves, collect the fruit core, and then feed them half a zu fruit each. After finally appeasing Lu Xiaoya and Lu Xiaoling, he left the space. The next morning, Lin Changqing, who had completed his training, went to the yard to meet up with everyone. The clansmen who saw Lin Changqing would greet him enthusiastically. To be honest, Lin Changqing's prestige in the clan may be less than that of the clan leader, grandfather, and the 6th elder, and even the 14th uncle may not be able to compare. This is also the reason why the clan leader wants him to be the next clan leader. However, Lin Changqing didn't want to carry such a heavy burden. He just wanted to take good care of himself and his family. He never thought about shouldering the safety and fate of the entire family. At most, he would give the family the greatest return within his ability, just like he took out the Beihuzuhen wine last time. After dealing with these enthusiastic uncles and aunts, Lin Changqing hurried over to stay with his father and 2nd uncle. When he saw them gathered together to chat, Uncle Ben and Uncle Feng joked with Lin Changqing again, saying that they would give birth to a daughter to marry him and must be Lin Changqing's father-in-law. Lin Changqing was speechless. Fortunately, everyone arrived soon. After everyone left the Red Maple Fortress, they boarded the wind boat released by the Patriarch and set off to return to Qinghai City. On the spirit boat, Lin Changqing turned his head and looked at the Red Maple Fortress. If he could avoid coming to this place in the future, he would not come. It's really not a good place. I believe others think so too. After flying for 3 days, they returned to Qinghai City smoothly. On the way, they also encountered flying boats in the same direction. Everyone kept a certain distance. It was like traveling together, and the closer to Qinghai City, the more such flying boats there were. They landed outside the East Gate, walked into Qinghai City, and returned to the residence assigned by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Grandpa took the clan leader away, probably to exchange for foundation building pills. Father and 2nd uncle also left, probably to find a suitable cave to rent. Seeing that it was not too late, Lin Changqing decided to go to the street stall square to see if there were any surprises. I have been here twice, so I am familiar with the road. Unfortunately, it was late because it was late, and there were not many people setting up stalls now. But since I am here, I might as well take a look and kill time. After walking for a while, I found a bag of spiritual seeds with grains slightly larger than sesame seeds at the stall of an elderly monk. Lin Changqing would basically ask about spiritual seeds when he saw them, and maybe he would find what he needed. Lin Changqing asked directly, "Boss, what kind of spiritual seed is this?" The old monk looked up at him and replied, "This is the grass of clover. This is the grass on the far northern grassland. It can barely be regarded as a low-level spiritual grass. but it is not very useful. Fortunately, this thing grows fast and is particularly suitable for herbivorous spiritual beasts as food. Lin Changqing's heart moved. Isn't this the food suitable for Lu Yaoqiang's family? This is much better than the tender grass and tender leaves he usually collects. I didn't expect to have such an unexpected harvest. Then how much do you sell this bag of grass seeds? How many acres of land can this bag of grass seeds plant? Lin Changqing asked. This grass seed is small, and it is not easy to collect them. The grass seeds in this bag are enough to plant 50 acres of land, and there are more. If you want something suitable, take it for 50 spirit stones, the boss replied. Lin Changqing bargained, 30 spirit stones, I don't know how it goes yet. The boss shook his head and said, there are quite a lot of grass seeds in this bag, I'll give you a discount, 48 spirit stones. Lin Changqing talked with the stall owner for a while, and finally took the bag of clover grass seeds for 40 spirit stones. He planned to plant them in the space and use them as food for Lu Yaoqiang's family, so that Lin Changqing would not have to go outside to collect tender leaves and grass. There were not many stalls left, and he quickly finished browsing. There was nothing worth looking at, mainly because he came too late, and most of them had closed their stalls and went back. He would come back next time when he had time. He strolled all the way and had a spirit meal outside before returning to his residence. His father and second uncle had already returned. When Lin Changqing saw them, he hurriedly asked if they had rented a suitable cave. The second uncle said proudly, I rented a cave suitable for the cultivation of the foundation building period cultivators. The monthly rent is 300 spirit stones. I have already paid half a year's rent. Now I just have to wait for your grandfather to come back, and then I can move in. The father also said, I heard from the cultivator who manages the cave in Qinghai sect that there are many people renting caves these 2 days. There may be no place to rent in a day or two. So this time I found a large cave, which can accommodate a family of 4 or 5 cultivators. Lin Changqing nodded and said, that's good, it's better to be prepared. Now I just have to wait for my grandfather and the clan leader to come back. I don't know how the situation is, and whether the exchange of foundation building pills will go smoothly. Lin Changqing brewed a pot of green jade tea, and the 3 of them, father, son, uncle and nephew, began to taste tea and chat. Father and second uncle praised the tea, so Lin Changqing gave some to each of them. Anyway, there is a steady supply of tea in the space. Speaking of asking someone to take a message back, my father said that he had entrusted Uncle Ben and Uncle Feng. Lin Changqing nodded. This was the best. The family knew that they were all safe and sound, so they wouldn't have to worry so much. After a while, the clan leader and grandfather finally came back. Seeing their rosy faces, it should be smooth sailing. Lin Changqing was the first to ask, how is it? Did you exchange for the foundation building pill? His father and second uncle also looked at them expectantly. The clan leader and grandfather smiled at each other. Grandpa smiled and said, it's a good thing that we asked the clan leader to go with us, otherwise it wouldn't be so smooth. Then Grandpa tapped the storage bag and took out 3 small jade bottles. There was a sealing talisman on the mouth of each jade bottle. The packaging looked very high-end and professional. The clan leader said, this is a soul-sealing talisman, which prevents the leakage of spiritual energy and can preserve the foundation building pill for a longer time. The foundation building pill site has been inspected, so you can use it with confidence. What are your plans now? My father said quickly. My brother and I plan to try to build our foundation in Qinghai City. We have already rented a cave with Qinghai sect and can move in at any time. The clan leader thought for a while and nodded, saying, this is good, so as not to give others a chance to make plans. Then you can go there in a while. Your father will go there first to protect you. I will take Kinger to see the great-grandmother tomorrow, and then take the clan members back to the ancestral mountain with Xiaoxiang. After handling some chores, I will come back to protect you. My father and second uncle hurriedly thanked the clan leader. The clan leader and Lin Changqing explained and agreed to go to Qinghai sect together tomorrow morning, and then said goodbye and went back. Chapter 77, Blue Thunder Bottle. After the clan leader left, only a few people from his family were left. Grandpa began to ask his father and second uncle about the various preparations for building the foundation, as well as some knowledge that should be known, etc. After getting satisfactory answers, he began to explain and analyze his own and his aunt Lin Maoding's foundation building experience in detail to Lin Changqing and the other 2, fearing that the 3 would make mistakes in their nervousness and carelessness when building the foundation. After confirming that they all remembered it, He gave each of his father and second uncle a foundation-building pill. The two of them took the foundation-building pill and couldn't help but study it carefully. At this time, Lin Chang had the opportunity to ask, "Grandpa, have you exchanged for a thunder attribute spiritual weapon?" When Grandpa heard this, he couldn't help but smile and said, "I exchanged it." Kinger was thoughtful and exchanged it for the second-level upper-grade spiritual weapon Kingla Immortal. The remaining contribution points were exchanged for some thunder attribute spiritual materials, which can be used by them first. It seems that Grandpa is very satisfied with this Kingla Immortal spiritual weapon. Lin Changqing asked curiously, "From the name, is it a spiritual weapon that can emit wood attribute divine thunder?" Grandpa nodded happily and said, "Yes, Kinger has good knowledge. This is a wood-attributed spiritual weapon refined from the heart of a second-level lightning-struck wood. It can emit the Jiamu divine thunder, which is just suitable for my attribute." Lin Changqing was overjoyed when he heard it, and hurried to congratulate his grandfather. "That's great. Congratulations to Grandpa for obtaining the Ruai spiritual weapon. From now on, you will be even more powerful and your immortal path will be prosperous." Grandpa smiled, patted Lin Changqing on the shoulder, and said, "Thanks to Kinger's opportunity, after your father and your second uncle have established their foundation, the family will have a greater demand for lightning-attributed spiritual weapons and spiritual objects. You should pay attention to collecting more of them in normal times." The second uncle interrupted, "Why is there an increasing demand for lightning-attributed spiritual weapons and spiritual objects?" The father also said, "Yeah, it seems that there are many things we don't know." Grandpa glared at them and said, "You will know after you have established your foundation. I didn't tell you because I was afraid that you would be distracted. It is not good for you to know too early." After hearing what Grandpa said, father and second uncle did not dare to ask any more questions. Then, he took out a storage bag and handed it to Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing knew that it should be spiritual stones. He continued, "This is 30,000 spiritual stones. You usually spend a lot of money to raise purple crystal scorpions, but Grandpa knows that you don't spend it carelessly, so I'll give you a little more this time." Lin Changqing took it happily. "Thank you, Grandpa. I won't spend it carelessly, and I guarantee that it will be used on the blade." Grandpa nodded and said, "Your father and I will go to the new cave house first in a while. You have to enter Kingayan Sect to meet your great-grandmother tomorrow, so don't run around. Rest early and get enough energy. After completing the task, come to the new cave house to find us by yourself." Lin Changqing could only agree to such an arrangement. Before leaving, Lin Changqing hugged his father and second uncle vigorously. He couldn't help but say to them, "Dad, second uncle, you must succeed. Mother, aunt and sister are waiting for your good news." The father nodded, touched Lin Changqing's hair, and said, "Kinger is as tall as Dad now. You must be careful when you go out on a mission and pay attention to safety. Dad will definitely succeed this time. I hope that when I come out of retreat, I can see Kinger has completed the mission and is back to welcome Dad out of retreat." Lin Changqing said firmly, "I will, don't worry, Dad." The second uncle patted Lin Changqing on the shoulder and said earnestly, "It would be best if the mission can be completed. It doesn't matter if it can't be completed. Your own life is the most important. If the opponent is from Kingayan Sect or other major sects, kill them if you should, chop them if you should, and don't be soft-hearted. Otherwise, you will fall into the gutter." Lin Changqing asked in surprise, "Could it be that my second uncle knows the specific mission?" The second uncle shook his head and said, "When I entered the cave, I overheard the Kingayan Sect cultivators chatting. They said that there seemed to be a secret realm to be opened, and it was time for the younger generation of the 6 sects to compete. I don't know the specific situation." After listening to this, Lin Changqing thought for a while and said, "If it is a competition between the same level, there is nothing to be afraid of. If you can't beat them, can you not run away?" "Thank you, second uncle. Now I have a bottom line in my heart." The second uncle blinked at Lin Changqing. "Be smart, wait until the second uncle builds the foundation, and I will protect you." Grandpa glared at him, "Even if you are lucky enough to succeed in building the foundation, you are just a bigger ant. It's better to wait until you reach the God transformation stage to say such things." The second uncle smiled awkwardly and said, "Isn't this just a casual chat between us uncle and nephew?" Lin Changqing smiled and said, "Second uncle, practice hard, I believe you can do it." Then Grandpa took father and second uncle, and went directly to the new cave without disturbing too many people. Lin Changqing returned to his residence by himself and slowly brewed a pot of green jade spiritual tea. While sipping the hot spiritual tea, He was thinking about what his second uncle had just said. If it was just a competition in the key refining stage, Lin Changqing was not afraid. On the contrary, he was still somewhat confident, and there was a hint of expectation in it. Forget it, don't worry about it. You will know what the task is tomorrow. There is no use thinking too much now. Practice the Thunder Sutra once, and then rest early, and keep your energy to meet the great-grandmother tomorrow. The night passed in the blink of an eye. The next morning, after completing the practice, Lin Changqing met up with the patriarch, and the two of them left Qingyuan City and walked towards the mountain gate of Qingyuan sect. There is a stone staircase path specifically for going up and down the mountain. The two did not dare to fly, so they chose to walk to show their respect. Arriving at the mountain gate of Qingyuan sect, they showed the token of their great-grandmother and asked the receptionist on duty to inform them. Then they waited in the pavilion nearby. After waiting for about an hour, a purple sword light finally fell near the mountain gate pavilion. A middle-aged beautiful woman wearing a purple Taoist robe and smiling on her face appeared. The clan leader quickly stood up and greeted the visitor, saying, "Hello, Senior Chen. Please come and pick up the two juniors." Lin Changqing also quickly imitated the clan leader and greeted the visitor, Junior Lin Changqing. "Hello, Senior Chen." The visitor just nodded and ignored the clan leader. Instead, he looked Lin Changqing up and down. 7th level of key refining. Is this the most powerful and outstanding cultivator of this generation of the Lin family? The visitor spoke with a hint of doubt in his tone. The clan leader quickly said, "Yes, he was also in the beast tide this time and helped me kill a 2nd level peak swift thunder leopard." Senior Chen looked at Lin Changqing in surprise, nodded and said, "This is worthy of the title of the most outstanding young generation of the Lin family. It is definitely beyond my expectation." Then he took out a spirit boat from the storage bag, threw it into the air, and turned it into a medium-sized spirit boat. Senior Chen was the first to stand on it and said, "Come on up, Master is waiting for you at Changsha Peak." After getting on the spirit boat with the clan leader, Lin Changqing adhered to the principle of watching more and talking less, and he didn't dare to talk nonsense now that he was not familiar with it. Senior Chen asked, "How much did the Lin family lose in this beast tide?" The clan leader sighed and said, 22 clan members died, and the others were basically injured." Senior Chen looked at the clan leader in surprise and said, "This loss is already very small. The Lin family is lucky this time." The clan leader shook his head and said, "This time, the Lin family has put all their strength into preparing magic weapons, elixirs, and talismans. They have already staked all their wealth. It is not surprising that this result has occurred." Senior Chen nodded and stopped talking. In the Qingyuan sect, after flying at high speed for half an hour, Lin Changqing finally felt that the spirit boat had passed through an invisible barrier. What came into view was a huge mountain, which was shrouded in a layer of white mist above the halfway point. It was not clear to see clearly, and one could only vaguely feel that the mountain was very high. The spirit boat began to increase in altitude and flew to the top of the mountain. After passing through layers of white mist, a large and beautiful white courtyard was seen on the top of the mountain. The spirit boat landed at the gate of the courtyard. Chapter 78 Purple Spirit Liquid. Senior Chen waved to the two people and asked them to follow her. Several people passed through several courtyards and came to a pavilion beside a pond in a garden. In the pavilion, 4 monks were sitting. One of them was a middle-aged female monk with white hair and a peaceful face. She should be the great-grandmother of the Lin family, Lin Changqing guessed in his heart. At this time, a gentle voice sounded in Lin Changqing's ears, "You two little guys come here." Lin Changqing hurriedly followed the patriarch and walked into the pavilion. He heard the patriarch say, "Greetings to the great-grandmother and the two seniors." Lin Changqing also hurriedly bowed and greeted, "Grandson Lin Changqing, greetings to the great-grandmother and the two seniors. Zia Long, find a seat by yourself. It's not your first time here. Don't be restrained." The gentle voice of the great-grandmother sounded again. The patriarch responded respectfully and then found a seat to sit down. Lin Changqing was left standing alone in the middle of the pavilion. All 6 people in the audience looked at Lin Changqing, which made him a little embarrassed, but he had no desires in his heart, so his face was a little calm. It was Senior Chen who spoke up to help him out. "Master, and 2 junior sisters, don't let him down, he made you embarrassed." The great-grandmother's voice sounded again, "Little guy, it's really good, much better than the first time your clan leader came." As soon as the voice fell, several chuckles were heard, and Senior Chen and her 2 junior sisters laughed. This time it was the clan leader's turn to be embarrassed. Just now I heard Jia say that you helped your clan leader kill a second-level peak swift thunder leopard in this beast tide. Is it true? Asked the great-grandmother. Replying to the great-grandmother, that time it was just a lucky sneak attack that created a slight opportunity for the clan leader, Lin Changqing said respectfully. The great-grandmother chuckled and said, don't be so modest. Many people from the Lin family have come to see me, but no one has ever been as frank as you. From this point of view, I believe that you are the most outstanding of the younger generation of the Lin family. Lin Changqing touched his head awkwardly and said nothing. The great-grandmother continued, you should have seen it when you came in just now. I only have a few disciples in Changsha Peak, and the population is not prosperous. The problem is that they are as lazy as I am. There are only 2 or 3 big and small disciples under my tutelage, so now I can't find a suitable person who can be trusted. Xia Long and his friends happened to come to see me that day, and I mentioned it casually, so this happened today. Lin Changqing asked boldly, Grandmother, do you want me to do something? As long as my grandson can do it, I will do my best. The great-grandmother nodded and said, that's right. Time flies. Another 60 years have passed, and the Jiang secret realm is about to open again. In addition to producing the main ingredients of the Foundation Establishment Pill and the Purple Mansion Twinksling Pill, the most important thing about this secret realm is that there is a Jiang pool. This Jiang pool will be filled with a pool of purple spirit liquid every 60 years. This purple spirit liquid has only one function, that is, to nourish the soul. As long as you soak in this purple spirit pool for about half an hour to allow the soul to get enough nourishment, you can increase the chance of breaking through the purple mansion by more than 50%. But soaking in the purple spirit liquid will cause the soul to fall into deep sleep, and at this time, there must be a trustworthy person to protect it, and this person must also have a strong fighting power, otherwise he will not be able to protect others and will be defeated in it. Hearing this, Lin Changqing understood that this was to let him go in to protect someone and let her successfully soak in the purple spirit liquid for more than half an hour. Just now, when Lin Changqing heard his great-grandmother say that this secret realm produced the main ingredients of the Foundation Establishment Pill and the Purple Mansion Twinksling Pill, he had already made up his mind. Of course, what to do after entering the secret realm will be discussed after entering. I understand, great-grandmother. Grandson has a few questions to ask you, Lin Changqing said confidently. The great-grandmother smiled and said, little guy, you look very confident. Ask, are all the competitors in the secret realm key refining cultivators? What are the rules inside? How many people can soak in the purple spirit liquid? Lin Changqing asked calmly. They are all key refining cultivators under the age of 18, and the highest level of cultivation is the 9th level of key refining. The rules here are that there are no rules. According to past records, the purple spirit liquid can be used to soak 5 to 6 people. The one who answered Lin Changqing's question was the great-grandmother's apprentice, Senior Chen Kit-chan. Lin Changqing looked at Senior Chen who brought them in and said, thank you for clearing up my doubts. I have no questions, great-grandmother. I feel that I can handle this task, Lin Changqing said confidently. The great-grandmother chuckled and said, I know you must be sure to say this, but after all, it is a matter of life and death for 2 people, so we should give it a try. Are you willing? Lin Changqing frowned slightly, then nodded and said, grandson is willing, but I don't know how to try it. Of course, the person you want to protect should try it. As long as she recognizes that you have the ability to protect her, it will be considered a pass. Xia, why don't you come and meet your brother? Lin Changqing then noticed that there was another female cultivator wearing lavender clothes and a veil on her face. Only a pair of cold eyes could be seen, but people could feel that she should be very beautiful, giving people a very cold and detached feeling. Chen Xia, meet the Lin family brother. She bowed slightly, and her voice also had a cold taste. Lin Changqing quickly returned the greeting, Lin Changqing, meet my sister. Seeing that Chen Xia had no intention of speaking again, Lin Changqing had to ask, how do you want to test me? Chen Xia said indifferently, I am not good at fighting, so I will just set up a formation. As long as you can break it, you will pass. This was beyond Lin Changqing's expectation. He was not good at breaking a formation. But at this point, he could only bite the bullet. Lin Changqing could only nod and say, okay, I don't understand formations, so I can only give it a try. Chen Xia glanced at him indifferently and said, this formation is a full defense formation. As long as you can break it, you will pass. Follow me. After hearing this, Lin Changqing breathed a sigh of relief and followed her to an open place. Chen Ziya cast a spell forward, and a yellow translucent light shield appeared on the open space in front. This should be the defense formation that Lin Changqing wanted to break. Lin Changqing looked at Chen Ziya, only to see that she just nodded lightly. Lin Changqing looked at the formation. Although he didn't understand the formation, he knew that there must be relatively weak places in the formation. Lin Changqing couldn't see it, but it didn't mean that Chuai couldn't see it. He tapped the spirit beast bag and released Chuai. As soon as he came out, he received a command from the master through the contract. Knowing that it was not the time to play, he immediately flew into the sky and used the golden eye to observe the weaknesses of the formation, and told the master the results of the observation through the contract. Lin Changqing decided to use some means, preferably to break the formation with a clean and neat blow, so he could only use the thunder horn. He patted his hand on the storage bag and pretended to take out the horn from the storage bag. Then he input the 8 layers of spiritual energy in his body into the horn, and soon a Zhengjing divine thunder was formed under the mobilization of Babei. He went directly to the weak point that Chuai saw. After a loud boom, the defensive formation was immediately broken. Lin Changqing breathed a sigh of relief, looked at Chen Ziya, and found that she had already started to walk back, so he quickly called Chuai back and quickly followed. The two returned to the pavilion, and Chen Ziya nodded to the great-grandmother. The great-grandmother chuckled and said, "Since Ziya recognizes you, then you two will be your partners in this trip to the Ziyang secret realm. Since you are doing things for me, an elder, I must give you some benefits. I'll give you this identity J token, and you can use it as a token of your request to see me in the future, and you can also tell others that you are my registered disciple. And this time when you enter the secret realm, you will enjoy the same treatment as the disciples of the sect, but you must not use this identity to do evil. Do you understand?" Lin Changqing hurriedly took the identity J token respectfully and said, "Thank you, great-grandmother, my grandson understands and will never dare to use it carelessly." After hesitating for a while, he still asked, "What is the treatment of the sect disciple who enters the secret realm?" Seeing that Lin Changqing didn't understand, Chen Jie explained, "It's the same as the sect disciples. 3 foundation establishment pills or 3 purple mansion Twangsuan pills can be exchanged for 1 foundation establishment pill." Lin Changqing was overjoyed after hearing this, and hurriedly thanked the great-grandmother again. The great-grandmother nodded and said, "There is still half a month before the secret realm opens. Do you want to stay here or go back to Qingyuan City first?" Lin Changqing quickly replied, "Grandson, you'd better go back to Qingyuan City first, and then meet up at the mountain gate of Qingyuan sect in half a month." The great-grandmother chuckled and said, "Okay, you'll feel uncomfortable living here. Ziya has been living in the mountain since she was a child. She has a cold temperament and doesn't understand the ways of the world. Please tolerate her. This is the double fishing jade pendant. You each hold one and refine it before entering the secret realm. This will make it easier for you to sense each other's approximate location in the secret realm." Lin Changqing said respectfully, "Grandson understands. Thank you, great-grandmother. Let Ji take you out." "Thank you, great-grandmother. Your grandson will take his leave." Then, it was Senior Chen Ji who took them to the mountain gate and gave Lin Changqing a jade slip containing all the information about the secret realm, asking Lin Changqing to read it carefully after returning. Chapter 79 Hidden Spirit Thunder. The two returned to the residence of the clan leader of Qingyuan City. They didn't know how the clan leader was doing, but Lin Changqing breathed a sigh of relief and felt much more relaxed. After all, under the eyes of so many high-level monks, Lin Changqing's secrets could be exposed at any time. Moreover, although the great-grandmother's attitude towards them was very gentle, Lin Changqing still felt uncomfortable. Fortunately, they only needed to meet up at the mountain gate of Qingyuan sect in half a month, and the rest of the time could be freely disposed of. Lin Changqing knew that the clan leader brought him here, and he must have something to say to him. The two sat down in the living room, and the clan leader took out the tea set and started to make tea. Lin Changqing could only wait for the clan leader to speak. The two of them tasted the spiritual tea, and the clan leader asked, "What are your plans for this mission?" Lin Changqing thought for a moment and said, "I should try my best to complete the task, and then soak some purple spiritual liquid myself." The clan leader smiled and nodded. This time, the 6 major sects sent the younger generation to the secret realm to collect the main ingredients of the foundation establishment pill and the purple mansion Twangsuan pill, and to soak in the purple spiritual liquid. There will definitely be some very elite disciples, or even core true disciples. I know you have some means, but you still have to be careful. After all, the disciples of the big sects must have more means. Lin Changqing nodded, and said seriously, my grandson never dared to despise the disciples of these big sects, and he will definitely go all out. The clan leader sighed lightly, and continued, it's good that you understand, but after all, you are not a real member of the Qingyuan sect, and it is inevitable to fight and make grudges in the secret realm. So when the time comes, you still have to disguise yourself, so as not to involve the grudges in the secret realm to the outside world. Lin Changqing understood the clan leader's meaning instantly, and said quickly, grandson, I've learned your lesson. I'll go to the Wanbao pavilion to find a treasure suitable for covering my face. The clan leader nodded, took out a jade box from the storage bag, and handed it to Lin Changqing. He said, this is the spoils of war when I killed a group of robbers decades ago. It should be helpful to you. Lin Changqing opened it and saw 3 thin masks inside. He was moved. Could it be a human skin mask? He took out one and studied it. It was as light as nothing in his hand. When his spiritual sense swept over it, he couldn't sense the hand under the mask. So he didn't have to worry about other spiritual sense detecting it when he wore this thing on his face. These 3 masks should be made of hidden spirit silk. I'm giving them to you. You should make good use of them, the clan leader said earnestly. Lin Changqing was overjoyed when he heard this, and quickly promised, thank you, clan leader, I will make good use of it and promise not to cause trouble for the family. The clan leader nodded and said, I believe you will handle it. I plan to take the clan members back tomorrow. Will you stay here or go to your grandfather? I'll go to my grandfather. After all, there is still half a month, and I can help protect my father and second uncle. Well, tell your grandfather that I will be back in about a month. And you must be careful in the secret realm. Remember to come back alive. Lin Changqing said seriously, don't worry, clan leader, I will be fine. When I come out of the secret realm, I may bring you a big surprise. Grandson, take your leave, I will go to find grandpa and others first. The clan leader smiled and waved his hand, saying, go, I'll wait for your big surprise. After coming out from the clan leader, Lin Chang remembered that he didn't have a special flying magic weapon, so he went directly to the Wanbao pavilion. The Wanbao pavilion in each place is almost in the most conspicuous position. Lin Changqing had seen it last time, but he didn't go in. As soon as he stepped into the Wanbao pavilion, a young girl came up to him. Hello, guest, welcome to the Wanbao pavilion. I am your shopping guide this time. You can just call me Zilin. Is there anything you need? Hello, I want a flying magic weapon with a relatively fast speed, Lin Changqing said. Yes, guest, please go to the 2nd floor. I will get it for you right away. This way, please. Zilin led Lin Changqing to a small private room and sat down. A maid served him a cup of spiritual tea. Lin Changqing nodded to express his gratitude. After waiting for a while, Zilin came back with 3 magic weapons on the tray. Sir, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting for a long time. This is the magic weapon that is more suitable for you now. Lin Changqing nodded and motioned Zilin to introduce it. Zilin picked up a bolt-shaped magic weapon and introduced it. This is a first-grade, top-quality flying magic weapon, the Light Wind Boat. It is a small flying magic weapon that can carry up to 3 cultivators and costs 400 spirit stones. The feature is that the boat is small and the speed is acceptable. This one is a first-grade, top-quality flying magic weapon, the Swift Wind Boat, which is also a small flying magic weapon that can carry up to 5 cultivators and costs 600 spirit stones. The feature is that the boat is relatively slender and the speed is relatively fast. The last one is a first-grade, top-quality flying spiritual weapon, the Cloud-Piercing Boat, which is between small and medium-sized flying spiritual weapons and can carry up to 10 cultivators and costs 900 spirit stones. The feature is that the boat is relatively light and can be driven by multiple people at the same time. The speed is the fastest of the 3. After speaking, she looked at Lin Changqing, waiting for him to make a decision. Lin Changqing thought for a moment and said, let's go with the cloud boat. Does your pavilion have any magic or spiritual instruments with thunder attributes? If so, bring them up and let's see. As he was about to enter the Jiang secret realm, Lin Changqing decided to strengthen his strength. Magic instruments or spiritual instruments with thunder attributes were the most suitable. Yes, please wait a moment, distinguished guest. After saying that, he excused himself and went down to prepare. The maid came in again, refilled Lin Changqing's cup of spiritual tea, and then left. Not long after, Zilin came in with a large tray, on which 4 magic instruments and spiritual instruments with thunder attributes were displayed. Lin Changqing still gestured to introduce himself first. Zilin picked up the first sword-shaped magic instrument and said, "This is a first-grade superior golden thunder sword, with no need to introduce this one, I also have it." "You introduce the next one," Lin Changqing interrupted her introduction. "Oh, okay." He picked up another lightning magic weapon and introduced, "This is a lightning ring, a first-grade top-grade magic weapon. You can input spiritual energy into it at ordinary times, and it can form a lightning shield with a thought. The price is 600 spirit stones." Seeing that Lin Changqing had no special reaction, she picked up another one and introduced it, "This is the Benlai sword, a second-level lower-grade spiritual weapon. This flying sword is very fast, at least 30% faster than the flying swords of the same level. It is the first choice for monks who like to use swords. The price of this spiritual weapon flying sword is 3,000 spirit stones." She glanced at Lin Changqing, picked up the last shield-shaped spiritual weapon and introduced it, "This is the Xianlai shield, a second-level middle-grade spiritual weapon. You can usually input spiritual energy or magic power into it. With a thought, 3 thunder shields can be formed, which can be stacked together or side by side to expand the defense area. And the defense of the Xianlai shield itself is also very strong. If the 2 defenses are added together, the defense strength is close to that of a top-grade spiritual weapon. The price of this Xianlai shield is 5,500 spirit stones." Lin Changqing thought about it and said, "Let's take the Benlai sword and the Xianlai shield. Let's calculate how many spirit stones they are in total." Hearing Lin Changqing say this, Zilin couldn't help but smile, and hurriedly said, "Thank you, my dear guest. The total price of 2 spiritual weapons and 1 magic weapon is 9,400 spirit stones." Lin Changqing nodded, counted out 9,400 spirit stones, and gave them to Zilin along with the 1 Bao Pavilion VIP card, and asked her to register the spirit stones purchased this time with a secret method. He told Zilin that she didn't need to see him off, and then he left 1 Bao Pavilion alone in a low-key manner. Chapter 80 Target Clan. After coming out of the 1 Bao Pavilion, Lin Changqing was worried that someone might be following him, so he consciously walked around a few times. After confirming that no one was following him, he walked towards the new cave that his father had rented. Following the address that his father had left for Lin Changqing, he spent some time and finally found the place successfully. After confirming that the place was correct, he entered a spell into the defense barrier and then began to wait. After a while, a crack appeared in the defense barrier, and Lin Changqing passed through the crack. After entering the cave, he saw only Grandpa, which was a bit strange. "Grandpa, why are you alone? Have my father and second uncle already started to retreat to prepare for the foundation building?" Lin Changqing asked in surprise. "They have been saying since yesterday that their state is already very perfect and they will definitely succeed. I asked them to adjust it again, but they didn't listen." In the morning, both of them officially started retreating. Grandpa's tone was a bit disappointed. "My father and second uncle must be very sure that they are so impatient. Don't worry. By the way, the clan leader will lead the clan members back tomorrow and will come back to help protect the law in about a month. He asked me to talk to you." Seeing that Grandpa was not worried, Lin Changqing quickly changed the subject. After hearing this, Grandpa nodded and said, "Sorry to bother you, clan leader. By the way, how was your meeting with the great-grandmother today? What did you do? Is it dangerous?" "It's okay. I don't think there will be any danger. It's just that we will enter the Jiang secret realm, which will be opened in half a month, and protect someone. I can do this, don't worry. We are all in the key refining stage, and the highest key refining great perfection," Lin Changqing answered confidently. Then he told Grandpa in detail about the meeting with the great-grandmother today and what happened from beginning to end. After hearing this, Grandpa felt relieved. After thinking for a while, he said, "It would be best if you don't do anything. If you do, don't leave any traces." After hearing this, Lin Changqing couldn't help but smile and said, "This clan leader has the same idea as you. The clan leader also gave me a few hidden spirit masks." As he said that, he took out a box given by the clan leader. After Grandpa took it, he opened it and looked at it. He nodded and said, "You must make good use of it and must not let the clan leader down. Also, Kinger, you must read the jade slip that Senior Chen gave you first. If there's anything you don't understand, We will discuss it later. Go. After hearing what Grandpa said, Lin Changqing had no choice but to agree. In the room, Lin Changqing had a jade slip on his forehead and was reading the contents inside. He had been doing this for some time. On the table next to him, there was an empty teacup. After a long while, Lin Changqing finally finished reading and took down the jade slip. He breathed a sigh of relief. The contents of the jade slip can be summarized into several aspects. The Jiang secret realm is very large, and there are many first-level monsters and a small number of second-level monsters living in it. Every time the disciples of the major sects enter the secret realm, they will try their best to kill and clean them up. Because the monsters will also swallow these spiritual medicines and spiritual plants. But when they enter again next time, these monsters will grow again, just like weeds, which will grow again in the spring breeze. Each time you enter the secret realm to explore, you only have 10 days, and when the time is up, everyone will be naturally teleported out. This secret realm is jointly owned by the 6 major sects, and the participants are mainly disciples of the 6 major sects. Of course, there are also registered disciples like Lin Changqing. Each sect has 100 places to enter, which means that there are 600 key refining disciples participating this time. There are no so-called rules in it, and even the same sect may not be reliable. The grievances that occur in it can only be resolved in it, and it will be treated as if they never happened when you go outside. No one can pursue it again, especially the high-level cultivators, and they must not take action against these low-level cultivators after the fact because of what happened in the secret realm. The 6 sects that find them will kill them together to set an example. Because if a high-level cultivator takes action, it is easy to cause a war between the various factions, which will not benefit anyone. Therefore, it is stipulated that after leaving the secret realm, what happened inside will no longer be investigated. The jade slip also contains a map of the secret realm, with the approximate location and name of the spiritual medicine production marked. This is what Lin Changqing needs most. This opportunity is rare. Lin Changqing plans to get the foundation building pill and the 3 main medicines into the space and plant them himself, so that the family will have its own source of foundation building pills in the future. Of course, Lin Changqing will not let go of the 6 main medicines of Zifu Tuangsuan pill. But this may be more difficult, and there is only 10 days, so we can only try our best. Lin Changqing plans to study and plan, connect the locations where the 9 spiritual medicines are produced, and plan the most reasonable route. At that time, no matter where you randomly land, as long as you confirm the location, you can follow the route and find as many of the 9 main medicines as possible. The target of this mission, Jiang Pool, is in the center of the entire secret realm. According to past experience, it will not appear until the last 3 days. But whether you can find it depends on luck. Because the center is shrouded by a huge maze. There are still some remnants of relics and formations inside, and people often find valuable things inside. According to the research of the 6 major sects, it is speculated that this Jiang secret realm may be a secret place controlled by a sect in the past. However, for some unknown reason, this sect disappeared in the long river of history, and the method of controlling the entry and exit of this secret place was also lost. Now we can only find the weak points of the secret realm at a fixed time, open an entrance, and let the monks who are not over the foundation building period enter. Later, in order to control the intensity of the fighting inside, the 6 major sects stipulated that only monks under the age of 18 can enter, and this also means selecting and training core disciples. The above is the main content of the jade slip. But Lin Changqing would not completely believe it. For example, it stipulates that the grievances that occurred inside will not be pursued outside. Lin Changqing does not believe this one. If Lin Changqing has relatives and descendants who died in it, and he knows who the murderer is, Lin Changqing will not let him go. Therefore, the emergence of this rule will only make it more concealed when others take revenge. In this way, the hidden spirit mask must be worn. And then you must check carefully, and the spoils with obvious characteristic marks or suspicious things must be handled in advance. If it really doesn't work, throw it into the deep pit and let Lin Changqing absorb and digest it. After planning like this, things will be very clear. There shouldn't be any big problems. It's still early now, so I'll also sacrifice and refine the 2 Thunder Attribute spiritual tools I bought in Wanbao Pavilion, and use the Soul Collection technique to store them in the Thunder Acupoint to replace the 2 top-grade Thunder Spirit Pearls. After all the work was done, it was already dark, so I went out to find my grandfather and told him the information in the jade slip and my own ideas. After thinking about it, My grandfather also felt that after entering the secret realm, he still had to wear the hidden spirit mask, which was safer. Grandpa also taught Lin Changqing his own exploration experience, as well as some common traps, routines, etc., and how to arrange and identify them, for fear that he would be deceived. Lin Changqing understood his grandfather's concerns and absorbed the valuable experience taught by his grandfather very carefully. Chapter 81 Trump Card 1. After leaving his grandfather's place and returning to his room, Lin Changqing felt that he couldn't waste time. After all, there was still half a month before the opening of the Jiang secret realm, and he had to make use of this time. There was definitely not enough time to open the Thunder Acupoint, so he would mainly use it to practice and refine the Zuinun heavy water bottle. The Zuinun heavy water bottle had a Tongbaoju, but it was not enough to sacrifice it once, and the Zuinun heavy water bottle could actually refine the 9th level heavy water. Its grade was so high that Lin Changqing couldn't guess it. Although it had been sacrificed once, if Lin Changqing used the heavy water bottle to absorb lake water or sea water, he would definitely not be able to absorb much. On the one hand, it was because of the lack of cultivation, and on the other hand, it was because the sacrifice was not enough. Lin Changqing also knew that this thing was very important, so he decided to spend more time to sacrifice this Zuinun heavy water bottle in the future. This heavy water bottle can be sacrificed all the time, and it is estimated that when Lin Changqing reaches the God transformation stage, he may not be able to fully exert the power of the heavy water bottle. Of course, this is still very far away from Lin Changqing now, so he should take care of the present first. The next morning, Lin Changqing finished his training early and went to the two places where he was in seclusion. There was nothing unusual, because Grandpa should still be in training. Lin Changqing would stay here first. When Grandpa came out after training and took over the task of protecting the law, Lin Changqing returned to his room. The main thing was to see if the purple crystal scorpion had woken up. He put his spiritual consciousness into the spirit insect bag and saw a little guy who was a circle bigger than the other purple crystal scorpions. One of its pincers was a little lighter in color. It should be the injured purple crystal scorpion. It has been sleeping for a long time. Now it has finally woken up and seems to have advanced. He let it out and took it in his hand to study it. He found that it was a little bigger, about 55 centimeters long. The purple color has obviously become darker, and the tail needle is more than 10 centimeters long. It is shining with cold light and looks very lethal. And from the spiritual pressure coming from it, it has reached the late stage of the first stage. It felt heavy in his hand, and he could feel the coldness. 8 eyes looked at Lin Changqing. He didn't know if it was an illusion, but Lin Changqing felt that this purple crystal scorpion seemed to be more spiritual. Lin Changqing had just examined its body, and it actually knew how to cooperate. Could it be because of the 100 flowers intoxicating soul wine? After the examination, Lin Changqing put the purple crystal scorpion back into the spirit insect bag, and then threw a portion of Wang Shijing and some monster meat into it to feed the purple crystal scorpion group. There was no way to let the scorpion group come out to bask in the sun. They could only wait until they returned to Jiufeng Mountain, or when it was safe and convenient to let them go out to breathe, but now they could only stay in the spirit insect bag. Chu Ai was released and fed some monster meat and Yulang pills. Yesterday, Chu Ai helped Lin Changqing break Chen Ziyai's defense array, which was considered a meritorious service, but he hadn't rewarded it properly. However, Chu Ai hadn't been advanced for long, so it was really not appropriate to give it Zhuguo or 100 flowers intoxicating soul wine. He could only wait until the right time to reward it together in the future. After finishing all this, he started to operate the 5 Elements Thunder Sutra, and the generated thunder spirit was injected into the spiritual instrument Sky Thunder Shield. In this way, the 3 thunder shields can be activated at any time, and with the Sky Thunder Shield itself, the safety is greatly improved. Time passed quickly, and 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Lin Changqing was refining the heavy water bottle, and suddenly a wave of fluctuations came from his heart, and a joyful and cheerful emotion was transmitted to Lin Changqing. This is. Lin Changqing quickly put aside the interference and concentrated his attention. After completing the refining of the heavy water bottle, he began to sense it. It turned out that it was Lu Yaoqiang who transmitted it through the contract. Lin Changqing used his spiritual sense to check the surroundings, and after confirming that there was no problem, he immediately entered the space. As soon as he came in, he felt a gust of wind rushing towards him, and Lin Changqing was about to activate the thunder shield. The wind stopped in front of Lin Changqing and turned into a 2-meter-tall 3-color stag. It made a cheerful yo-yo sound towards Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing understood its meaning through the contract. It was expressing its gratitude to Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing carefully looked at Lu Yaoqiang in front of him. He was now 6 feet tall. If the antlers on his head were counted, he might be more than 9 feet tall. His body looked very strong. His body shape was a bit like that of a horse, except that his forelegs were not as thick as those of a horse, but they also looked tough and strong. It should have been a wind escape just now. The speed was really fast enough that he almost didn't react. At this time, Lu Xiaoyu and Lu Xiaoling also ran over. This comparison showed how fast Lu Yaoqiang's wind escape was. Lu Xiaoyu and Lu Xiaoling also surrounded Lin Changqing and called yo-yo, especially Lu Xiaoyu, who probably wanted to get the spiritual wine from Lin Changqing to break through the second level. Lin Changqing could only explain to them through the contract. It was not appropriate now. It would take some time. He finally fed each of them a spiritual nourishing pill to appease them. Lin Changqing glanced at Lu Yaoqiang and reached out to touch him. Lu Yaoqiang understood Lin Changqing's intention in seconds and lowered his head on his own initiative to facilitate Lin Changqing's touch. It seemed that he had no intention of resisting. Looking at the beautiful male tricolor giant deer in front of him, Lin Changqing wondered if he could use it as a mount. He told Lu Yaoqiang this idea, but he didn't expect it to agree, and then squatted down with its 2 front feet, making it convenient for Lin Changqing to sit on it. In this case, Lin Changqing was not polite and stretched his legs to straddle Lu Yaoqiang's back. Then he asked it to try the wind escape, but he didn't expect that it would have a strong inertia in seconds, and almost knocked Lin Changqing off. Fortunately, he hugged Lu Yaoqiang's neck in time. When Lin Changqing reacted, Lu Yaoqiang had already run around the space and stopped at the same place. This time, Lin Changqing had experience, so he hugged Lu Yaoqiang and asked him to try the wind escape again. This time, he finally felt it. It was so fast that it was hard to describe, more than 10 times faster than his own flying speed. It took only 4 or 5 blinks to run around the space. This speed was so cool. It was a good choice for escaping, but it was a good choice. It should not be used casually. After asking him what abilities he would have after the contract was passed, Lu Yaoqiang cast a birth-inducing spell on a 100-year-old red fruit tree. Lin Changqing observed carefully. The fruit tree was probably grown for about 4 years, which was equivalent to the level of a second-level junior spiritual plant master. Very good, the workability has become stronger, and it will be easier for me in the future. A faint green light flashed from Lu Yaoqiang's antlers, and then a spell fell on Lin Changqing. Because he was not prepared for the first wind escape, his body, which was a little uncomfortable due to the forceful pulling, immediately returned to normal. This is the rejuvenation technique. No, this should be the Yang rejuvenation technique. The Yang rejuvenation technique is a second-level spell, and its effect is 10 times that of the rejuvenation technique. In fact, the rejuvenation technique is a simplified version of the Yang rejuvenation technique. It was absolutely right to contract Lu Yaoqiang's family of 3. This is a second-level spiritual healer with you. He can run and heal. He is definitely the strongest assistant. Unfortunately, he has no attack ability. By the way, the grass seeds of the clover that I bought at the street stall last time have not been planted yet. I just happened to come in today, so I will plant them. Lu Yaoqiang happened to break through the second level. Judging from his size, he must have a greater demand for food. Then he will plant all of them. Anyway, there is still a lot of free space in the space. After deciding, he marked out an area of about 50 acres. It should be almost done. He called Lu Yaoqiang's family to help and quickly sowed the grass seeds. Then he used the earth covering technique to turn the grass seeds into the ground, and then cast the spiritual rain technique. It took a long time for 1 person and 3 deer to finally finish the 50 acres of land. He told Lu Yaoqiang and the others that the clover has a strong reproductive capacity and must be controlled within the scope planned by Lin Changqing. It must not be allowed to grow outside this range. Lin Changqing didn't want the shadow of clover to be everywhere in the space. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82, Backhand Agreement. Liu Yaoqian broke through to the second level, which was a strong guarantee for Lin Changqing's trip to the secret realm. Of course, Lin Changqing would not easily expose himself unless it was necessary. The remaining few days passed quickly, and today was the day agreed with the great-grandmother. Lin Changqing got up early to complete his practice, and then he sacrificed the double-fishing jade pendant given by the great-grandmother. After checking and confirming that there was nothing missing, he left the room and saw that his grandfather was already waiting for Lin Changqing in the cave hall. He gave Lin Changqing some instructions and gave him 4 more Xian Lizi, knowing that his grandfather was still very worried about him. He could only repeatedly assure his grandfather that he would be back from the secret realm soon, and then Lin Changqing resolutely set off. Having followed the clan leader here once, Lin Changqing came to the mountain gate of Qingyuan sect with ease, but he did not expect that Senior Chen Jie was already waiting for Lin Changqing in the pavilion. Lin Changqing hurried forward and said, "Junior, greet Senior Chen." "Sorry to bother you this time." Senior Chen glanced at him, waved his hand and said, "Nothing, come on up. We are going to meet up with Ziyan now." Lin Changqing agreed and boarded the flying boat. Soon the flying boat turned into purple light and flew at high speed to the interior of Qingyuan sect. Half an hour later, the two arrived at a huge square. Now there are dozens of people gathered in the center of the square, and some people are rushing here one after another. The two got off the flying boat, and Senior Chen took Lin Changqing to where Chen Ziya was standing. Chen Ziya was still as quiet as before, standing alone in a relatively outer place. When she saw Senior Chen and Lin Changqing, she bowed slightly and said lightly, "Greetings to the grandmother, and to the elder brother of the Lin family." Lin Changqing hurriedly returned the greeting and said, "Greetings to the younger sister." Then she didn't know what to say, and felt that nothing she said was appropriate. It was still Senior Chen who spoke. "Changqing, Ziya is entrusted to you. She is not good at fighting. After entering the secret realm this time, you must rush over to meet her as soon as possible, and you must reach the center of the secret realm within 7 days. Lin Changqing hurriedly said, "Don't worry, Senior, Changqing understands. After entering the secret realm, he will go over to meet up with his sister as soon as possible, find the Jiang pool, and protect her safely out of the secret realm." Senior Chen nodded and said to Chen Ziya, "Ziya, you grew up in the sect since you were a child. You have never gone out to experience, and you have a cold personality. After entering the secret realm, you will quickly approach Changqing. Although it will be safer in the early stage, try not to cause trouble. For this trip to the Jiang secret realm, you must follow the arrangements of your brother. He has just experienced this great beast fight and has gained a lot. He will definitely be able to protect your safety." Chen Ziya nodded and said, "Don't worry, Grandma. My grandson understands and will definitely not cause trouble for my brother." Senior Chen nodded, glanced at the two of them, and stopped talking. Only then did Lin Changqing have time to look at the disciples of Qingyuan sect who entered the secret realm this time. Most of them were male cultivators, and there were only about a dozen or 20 female cultivators. Many of them wore Qingyuan sect clothes and gathered in 2s and 3s. There were many people with 7 or 8 people, and the few were just 2 people like Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya. It seemed that some people had already started to form a group before entering the secret realm. The cultivation level was generally between the 7th, 8th, and 9th levels of key refining, and a fewer key refining perfection. Lin Changqing could be said to be at the bottom in this regard, but fortunately he did not rely mainly on his own cultivation. There were also many disciples of Qingyuan sect who looked at Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya, but with Senior Chen around, those people only dared to look at them roughly and then looked away. With the protection of Senior Chen Jie, no one came to chat with or provoke them, and Lin Changqing was happy to be free. After waiting for a while, no one rushed here anymore. It seemed that everyone should have arrived. At this time, a high-level cultivator's spiritual sense swept over, and then a voice sounded in everyone's ears. All disciples participating in the secret realm trip board the ship, and then find an empty room to rest. Then a treasure ship with 3 floors appeared in the air. It was rapidly growing in Lin Changqing's eyes, and soon became a behemoth of more than 200 meters long, landing in the center of the square. Lin Changqing's heart moved. The voice just now was very much like the great-grandmother. The disciples of Qingyuan sect have begun to board the treasure ship one after another. Lin Changqing and the two of them waited until everyone else had almost boarded before they began to board the ship. At this moment, a voice sounded softly in Lin Changqing's ears, "At least bring her back alive, please." Lin Changqing knew that this was Senior Chen's voice transmission to him, And he didn't mean to let Chen Ziyi know. Lin Changqing nodded to the respectable grandmother, knowing that she would understand what he meant. Then he boarded the treasure ship, found 2 empty rooms next to each other, and went in to rest. Meeting in the room, Lin Changqing brewed a pot of green jade tea and began to think about Chen Ziyi. He felt that he should take the initiative to talk to her and understand her situation, so that the two of them could cooperate with each other in the secret realm. After drinking the spiritual tea in a few gulps, Lin Changqing went out and knocked on Chen Ziyi's door. Soon, Chen Ziyi's faint voice came from inside. "Is that you?" Lin Changqing said. "Sister, it's me. I want to talk to you." Chen Ziyi opened the door and let Lin Changqing enter the room. After the two sat down, Lin Changqing spoke first. "Sister, I have a question in my mind that I want to ask you." Chen Ziyi looked at him and said lightly, "Brother, please speak. In fact, I have always been confused. Since junior sister is not good at fighting, why did she participate in this trip to the Jiang secret realm? Isn't it a very dangerous place? Risking the danger of falling, is it just to increase the chances of advancing to the Purple Mansion?" Lin Changqing asked the question that he had always been confused about. Chen Ziyi glanced at Lin Changqing and sighed. "When you are in a sect, sometimes you can't help yourself. While enjoying the conveniences provided by the sect, you must also fulfill your obligations to the sect. Moreover, it's not just me. All inner disciples of the right age and who have reached the late stage of key refining must participate. The outer disciples will make up for the shortfall, so that's how it is. It seems that being a disciple of a sect is not easy." Lin Changqing could only nod his head to show that he understood. Then he continued, "I want to know what preparations or specialties my worldly sister has made, so that we can cooperate with each other in the secret realm." Chen Ziyi nodded and said, "I have prepared 4 formation plates, 2 top-level ones of the first grade, 2 elementary ones of the second grade, 1 for attack and 1 for defense. 2 top-grade magic weapons of the first grade, 2 best-grade magic weapons of the first grade, 1 for attack and 1 for defense. The flying magic weapon is a first-grade best-grade moon-covering boat, and there are several talismans and elixirs." After listening, Lin Changqing nodded and said, "The preparations are very sufficient. If we are arriving close, we will meet up first. If we are at the farthest ends, then we will designate a place to meet up. Where do you think is suitable?" Chen Ziyi thought for a moment and said, "Then let's meet at Zhuanggui Lake." Lin Changqing thought about it and realized that this place was already relatively close to the center. There were 3 Zhuanghong fruit trees. The Zhuanghong fruit produced was one of the main ingredients of the Zifu Tuangsun pill. He said, "It's closer to the center, and it's the only place in the whole secret realm that produces Zhuanghong fruit. Many people will definitely go there. Will it be too dangerous?" Seeing Chen Ziyi remain silent, Lin Changqing continued, "How about Wanzhou Forest? Although it also produces purple monkey flowers and 3-leaf green fungus, it is easier to hide in the wide area and it is also convenient to escape." Chen Ziyi nodded and said, "Okay, I will listen to Brother Shi's arrangements." It was still a bit uneasy to let Chen Ziyi go through this journey alone. Lin Changqing didn't want to disappoint the trust of his great-grandmother and Senior Chen. Lin Changqing sighed and asked, "Sister, are you afraid of spiders, scorpions and the like?" Chen Ziyi asked in confusion. "What does Brother Shi mean?" Lin Changqing explained, "I am still a little worried about letting Sister Shi go through this journey alone. I have some spiritual insects that can be temporarily lent to Sister Shi. They can protect Sister Shi's safety. If you encounter an enemy at that time, Sister Shi can release them outside the formation after setting up the formation. After that, you don't have to worry about them. You just need to go out and clean up the scene." After hearing the screams, Chen Ziyi thought for a while and said, "I am not afraid of spiritual insects, but I don't know what kind of spiritual insects they are. Is it as powerful as Brother Shi said?" Lin Changqing didn't say anything more. He released 24 purple crystal scorpions from the spiritual insect bag. Before they came out, Lin Changqing made them invisible. He said to Chen Ziyi, "Sister Shi has awakened her spiritual consciousness, right? You can try to find them. They are already in the room." Chen Ziyi began to search with her spiritual consciousness bit by bit. After searching for a long time, she didn't find any spiritual insects. She looked at Lin Changqing suspiciously. Lin Changqing's mind moved, and 24 amethyst scorpions appeared, just surrounding Chen Ziyi twice. Chen Ziyi was startled, and for the first time, Lin Changqing felt that Chen Ziyi's face showed other expressions. She felt a sense of pride after a prank was successful. but she didn't dare to show it on her face. Chapter 83, Heavenly Star 10,000 Swords. Lin Changqing coughed lightly, breaking the awkward atmosphere. He touched his nose and introduced, these 24 amethyst scorpions. Most key refining cultivators will lose their ability to move after screaming, and many will even faint. Being stabbed by more than 3 will probably be painful to death. I have told them to listen to you for the time being. Usually, feed them some monster meat every 2 days. It would be even better if they can eat some spirit stones or spirit crystals. After saying that, he took out the small spirit beast bag that his grandfather had given him at the beginning, which contained the amethyst scorpions, put the 24 amethyst scorpions away, and handed it to Chen Ziya. Chen Ziya hesitated for a moment, but still took it. Lin Changqing also reminded her not to trust anyone, even if they were from the same sect, they might attack you inside. Feeling that he had explained almost everything, Lin Changqing stood up and said goodbye. When he walked to the door, he suddenly remembered that there was one thing he had not told Chen Ziya. After organizing his words, he said, Sister Shi, you also know that I come from a small cultivation family. In order not to bring the grievances in the secret realm to the outside world and implicate the family. So after entering the secret realm, I will disguise myself and appear in a different image. Don't call me Brother Shi at that time, just call me Senior Brother Gao. My full name is Gogu Shui, so that my identity will not be exposed. After hearing this, Chen Ziya was stunned for a moment, a slight smile appeared on her face, and then she nodded. Lin Changqing formally said goodbye and left. Back in the room, in this situation, Lin Changqing did not dare to enter the state of cultivation, for fear that something would happen suddenly and be disturbed, and it was estimated that it would arrive soon. So Lin Changqing took out the travel notes of the giant and cultivators that he had bought from the street stalls before, brewed a pot of green jade tea, and slowly read while sipping tea, and let himself relax. Since receiving the news of the beast tide, Lin Changqing has actually been in a tense state and has not relaxed. Now he finally has time to put down the burden and relax. It feels pretty good. The treasure ship flew at high speed for a long time, at least much longer than Lin Changqing expected. It didn't reach its destination until the 3rd day. It seemed that it must be very far away from Qingyuan City now. The treasure ship landed in a huge valley. There were already 4 groups of monks wearing clothes of different colors. At this time, he heard, everyone get off the treasure ship and gather at the landing place. Don't run around. Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya also got off the treasure ship with the disciples of Qingyuan sect. The 2 stood slightly outside. Lin Changqing began to look at the disciples of the other 4 sects who arrived first. At this time, he heard Chen Ziya and said lightly, the woman on the left wearing pink clothes and the man wearing white clothes are cultivators from the creation sect. The core inherited technique of the sect is the Yin-Yang Creation Sutra, which is actually a dual cultivation technique. Be careful of their Taoist partners, especially the combined attack secret technique, which is very powerful. Taoist partners can even fight beyond their ranks. Lin Changqing didn't expect that Chen Ziya would take the initiative to introduce these to him. He was a little flattered and hurriedly thanked her. Thank you, sister, for clearing up my doubts. Chen Ziya ignored him and continued, the one wearing red and gold-rimmed clothes in the past is the Danding sect. This sect specializes in planting, refining pills, and playing with fire. The core inherited techniques are the 9 Yang Burning Heaven Sutra and the One Tree Becomes a Forest Sutra. The spiritual plant masters and alchemists have inherited up to the 5th grade upper grade. Various wood and fire spells and secret techniques are very powerful. The one wearing green clothes on the right is a cultivator from the Yuling sect. They are a bit like you. They all like to control monsters or spirit insects to fight against enemies. The core inherited skill of this sect is the 10,000 beasts controlling spirit scripture. It is said that practicing the skill can contract multiple monsters to become one's own spirit beasts. In the key refining stage, one can already contract 2 spirit beasts. You know better than me how powerful monsters are. Those who wear silver clothes with gold edges are all cultivators of the Xianxing sword sect. I believe you have also heard about the power of sword cultivators. In addition, the people of this sword sect are very aggressive and a little crazy. Because of the skill, they pay special attention to cultivation resources. Be careful when you meet them. The core inherited skill of this sect is the Xianxing 10,000 sword scripture. It is said that practicing the skill can condense 365 natal flying swords. In the later stage, these natal flying swords can be used to form a sword formation, which can be a one-to-one existence. There is another sect that has not arrived yet, called the Xianyin sect. Most of the cultivators in this sect are female. They are good at music illusions, and often lead people into illusions without knowing it. If the consciousness and soul power are weak, it is even easier to be tricked. The core inherited skill of the sect is the heavenly sound questioning heart sutra. It is said that when practicing the skill, every word has a pleasant rhythm, which will make people intoxicated unconsciously. It will affect or even control the various behaviors of the cultivators. So try not to give them the opportunity to speak when you meet them. After hearing this, Lin Changqing realized that the 6 major sects were not in vain, and each of them had its own special skills. After Chen Ziyi's explanation, Lin Changqing knew roughly how to deal with them when he met them, and the game was still very great. Lin Changqing once again solemnly thanked Chen Ziyi. "Thank you again, sister, this information is very important and very helpful to me." Chen Ziyi nodded and stopped talking. Of course, Lin Changqing also knew that it was impossible for all disciples to get the core inheritance. There must be many disciples who practice other skills, or simplified versions of the core skills. But even if each sect has 1 or 2 such core true disciples entering this secret realm, they are definitely very powerful opponents. At this time, the sky was faintly filled with clear and pleasant music. Lin Changqing thought of what Chen Ziyi had said just now, and immediately became alert. He immediately united his mind and kept guard in the Lingte. At this time, the people of Qingyin sect heard. "This is the Qingyin questioning heart of Xianyin sect. You should pay attention to closing your hearing, restraining your mind, and keeping guarding the Lingte." Soon, a colorful boat landed in the valley under the eyes of the 5 major sects, and a group of Xianyin sect monks in colorful clothes got off the boat. At this time, the giant and cultivator of Danding sect said, "Since everyone is here, let's start. Let's finish it as soon as possible. I still have to go back to make pills." The giant and cultivator of Xianyin sect said, "Sorry, I kept you waiting for a long time." "Then let's start." This voice was warm and pleasant, and people couldn't help but feel good when they heard it. Lin Changqing shuddered. Great. Great. This is really moistening things silently. It is simply hard to guard against. Then the giant and monks from the 6 major sects appeared, each occupying a position, and together they continuously cast spells at a place in the center of the valley. Soon, that area reacted and began to twist and fluctuate like water ripples. The 6 giant and monks continued to cast spells until the twisted and fluctuating place formed a channel that rotated continuously in a counterclockwise direction and gradually stabilized. At this time, Lin Changqing finally confirmed that the giant and monk sent by Qingyin sect this time was the great-grandmother. But now was not the time to think about these things, because just now he heard the great-grandmother's order, "All disciples, hurry up and enter first." Lin Changqing immediately pulled Chen Ziyi and rushed to the passage at a high speed. The disciples of other sects did the same. Lin Changqing suddenly had an idea. After sticking a magic talisman on each of the 2 people, he finally rushed into the passage before most people. After a while of dizziness, Lin Changqing finally landed in the Jiang secret realm. After the dizziness subsided, he immediately released Shuai and let it fly high into the sky. First, confirm the safety and location, and then think about other things. While Shuai was flying into the sky, Lin Changqing took out the Shuogayu jade pendant and sensed Chen Ziyi's position. The situation was neither good nor bad. Both of them were at the edge, forming an angle of about 120 degrees with the center. Fortunately, the worst situation did not occur. The 2 were at opposite ends. Now they could only meet in one's Yilin according to the plan. Chapter 84, Extreme Yin Soul Break. After communicating with Shuai and comparing the map in the jade slip, Lin Changqing finally got his exact location. Now he was heading towards Wan's Yilin. The nearest place was Jiayin Mountain, the place where ginsilian was produced and one of the 3 main medicines of the foundation building pill. Without saying anything, he went straight to his destination. With Shuai staring at him, Lin Changqing was not afraid of someone attacking him, so he moved very fast. Suddenly, he received a warning from Shuai that there was someone in front of him on the left, also moving towards Jiayin Mountain, not far from Lin Changqing, only about 7 or 8 miles away. Lin Changqing thought about it and decided to ignore him, but now he put on the Yinling mask and changed the color and style of his clothes. He took out a mirror and looked at it. It was a pale face of an ordinary person, without any outstanding features, a very ordinary face, the kind that would not attract attention in a crowd. This was exactly what Lin Changqing wanted. From now on, there was only God Shui in the secret realm. After packing up, he continued to move towards his destination. After advancing more than 10 miles, he received another warning from Shui. There was a group of 30 or 40 red-tailed monkeys 7 or 8 miles ahead. Lin Changqing didn't want to provoke them, so he slightly adjusted his direction. The brother just now has entered the territory of the group of red-tailed monkeys. A fight will soon break out, but Lin Changqing is not interested in being a fisherman. Now it is most important to collect the main ingredients of the foundation building pill and the purple mansion Tuangsung pill. I don't know when I will find such an opportunity again, so I can't waste time. It took more than 3 hours to get there. Through Chuai, I avoided 5 waves of monsters and 7 groups of monks. Finally, I arrived at Jiayan Mountain. I didn't dare to delay time and immediately began to search for golden silk lotus. I asked Chuai to help find it. With full consciousness, I kept searching within a range of 240 meters around my body. I moved quickly along the way and finally found 2 mature golden silk lotus next to a fallen and withered tree, and 5 half-size seedlings next to it. There was no need to hesitate. He collected all of them and asked Chuai to watch the surroundings. Lin Changqing quickly and professionally transplanted the 7 golden silk lotuses. They were all temporarily placed in the spiritual plant bag and transferred to the space at a unified time. Now he had to hurry up and find more golden silk lotuses. After slightly covering up the traces of transplantation, Lin Changqing started again, sweeping the way and finding a place with 3 mature plants and 4 seedlings. He didn't dare to waste time and started transplanting directly. At this time, Chuai warned that someone was approaching Jiayan Mountain quickly. Lin Changqing asked him to keep watching. It was impossible for one person to give up this place. At least he had to search more than half of it before leaving. He didn't waste time and continued to search. At this time, Chuai reminded him that there was a golden silk lotus about a mile to the right. Lin Changqing immediately rushed to the destination. When he arrived at the place, he saw that there were 7 mature golden silk lotuses and 19 seedlings. He quickly released the amethyst scorpions, letting them spread out to protect themselves, and then began to transplant them. After working for 2/4 of an hour, he finally finished everything and put them into the spiritual plant bag. With so many golden silk lotus harvests, it is basically enough for continuous cultivation in the future, so he does not plan to look for more and is ready to rush to the next place. Unfortunately, Lin Changqing wanted to leave, but others did not agree. He just received the early warning of the first day and was about to avoid it, but he was still discovered by a cultivator from the Xianxing sword sect. The person rushed towards Lin Changqing at high speed and quickly blocked Lin Changqing's way. Lin Changqing simply did not leave, and moved the amethyst scorpion to the direction of the person who came and hid. After the visitor arrived, he said to him, "My fellow Taoist from the Xianxing sword sect, there are not many people here yet, and there are still many golden lotuses to be found. Let's not waste each other's time. What do you think?" The visitor shook his head and said, "Leave the storage bag and spiritual plant bag on your body, and leave you a magic weapon to protect yourself. Get out of here." Lin Changqing sighed softly. It was really hard to persuade the damned ghost with good words. With a thought, the purple crystal scorpion launched an attack. The cultivator of the Xianxing sword sect screamed twice in succession, and then his whole body twitched violently, and soon fell to the ground and did not move. The golden thunder sword in Lin Changqing's hand pierced his forehead with a swish. In fact, when the visitor intercepted Lin Changqing just now, Lin Changqing planned not to take action if he could, but unfortunately the visitor was still determined to die. He collected the visitor's storage bag and spiritual plant bag, and of course the magic weapon that fell to the ground, and then cremated the body with a fireball spell. After confirming that there was no one around and nothing was missed, he began to continue to the next destination. There are 2 places in front of us, which are about the same distance away. One is the Broken Soul Slope where the heavenly soul grass is produced, and the other is the Xiangxiang Valley where the purple heart fruit is produced. After thinking about it, I decided to go to the Broken Soul Slope to find the heavenly soul grass first. After all, as long as you find the purple heart fruit tree, you can also cultivate a purple heart fruit tree by cutting off a section of the tree root. After deciding, move directly to the destination. Chuai has been providing early warnings to Lin Changqing in the air. It took another 2 or 3 hours along the way, and he still avoided monsters and monks, otherwise it would take longer. When he just approached a broken soul slope, it was already dark. If it were someone else, they might wait until tomorrow morning before entering to search, but others are afraid of the wandering ghosts here, but Lin Changqing is not afraid. The lightning magic tools and spiritual tools on his body are not a joke, especially the damage to the soul body is greater. Summoning the sky thunder shield and the lightning wooden sword, while it is not completely dark, enter the foggy broken soul slope. As soon as he entered, he opened his spiritual sense and swept all the way to find the heavenly soul grass. He also swept up a bunch of yin qi. But as long as they didn't cause trouble for him, Lin Changqing would not bother them. After sweeping for a long time, he finally found a heavenly soul grass with 2 seedlings beside it. However, next to the mature heavenly soul grass, there was actually an evil ghost in human form. When the evil ghost saw Lin Changqing approaching, it immediately roared, trying to scare Lin Changqing away, but how could Lin Changqing be afraid of such an evil ghost, which was equivalent to the middle and late stages of qi refining? He input spiritual energy into the lightning-struck wooden sword, making it emit the breath of thunder. Then the wooden sword slashed out, and the evil ghost turned into a gray-black yin qi and rushed straight to Lin Changqing's face at a very fast speed. Just in time. With a thought, a thunder shield appeared in front of Lin Changqing. The evil ghost found the shield and wanted to avoid it, but the shield appeared too suddenly, and there was no time at all. It directly hit the thunder shield and let out a shrill scream. The thunder shield made a sizzling sound, and more than half of the evil ghost was melted, and then turned into yin energy and wanted to escape, but how could Lin Changqing let it succeed? The lightning flashed on the lightning-struck wooden sword and cut in the center of the yin energy. After hearing an even more shrill scream, the yin energy dissipated, leaving only a gray-black bead at the scene. Lin Changqing's heart moved. Could this be the yin soul bead? Carefully picked it up and observed it, and could feel a cold energy inside, which was exactly the opposite of the energy attribute of thunder. Put it away first. Find a jade box and put the bead in it. The divine consciousness is fully open and covers the surroundings, and then carefully transplant the 3 Chyanham grasses. The transplantation work was completed quickly. After covering up the traces of transplantation, they set out to continue looking for Chyanham grass. Chapter 85 Heavenly Fragrance and Divine Delight. Because no one enters the soul-breaking slope at night, this place is now equivalent to Lin Changqing's exclusive place. After 2 hours of searching, 13 mature heavenly soul grasses were harvested, and the number of seedlings reached 28, and 9 yin soul beads were also harvested. Then he stopped looking, and he had to leave some for other cultivators. Otherwise, when he went out to count, he found that the heavenly soul grass was gone, and everyone knew that there was a problem, so Lin Changqing chose to stop. After leaving the foggy area of the soul-breaking slope, because it was already night, Chu Ai's vision was affected, and the warning range was greatly reduced. There were too many uncontrollable dangers when traveling at night. So he still had to find a place to rest first, and wait until tomorrow morning, and then rush to the next destination. He found a relatively hidden place as the camping site for tonight, released a purple crystal scorpion, and formed a 3-layer warning defense circle around the resting place. Then the divine sense carefully scanned the surrounding 240 meters. After confirming that there were no cultivators or monsters, Lin Changqing entered the space. As soon as he came in, Lu Yaoqiang's family surrounded him, but Lin Changqing couldn't stay in there for too long, so he didn't play with them. He just fed each of them a nurturing spirit pill. Then he asked them to come and help plant the golden silk lotus and heavenly soul grass harvested today in different areas. Only one mature golden silk lotus was left, which was kept in a jade box. This was prepared to go out and deal with Qinghai insect when the time came. After taking out the storage bag seized from the disciples of Xiangxing sword sect today and refining it a little, he poured out all the things. There were 5 flying swords, all of which were top-level magic weapons of the first order, and they were of the same style. It seemed that they could form a set of sword formations, but it was a pity that Lin Changqing didn't dare to use them. He could only keep them for now, and throw them to Lin Changlu when he had accumulated more in the future. There were no secret manuals of martial arts, and no defensive magic weapons were seen. There were some commonly used ordinary elixirs, more than 300 spirit stones, and dozens of empty jade boxes, which seemed to be used to store spiritual medicines and herbs. There were also some personal clothes and sundries, which were collected first and disposed of when the opportunity arose. He opened the spiritual plant bag and took a look. It was empty, so he put it aside. All the seized items were useless now, so they were left in the space, including the 10 yin beads he harvested today. After instructing Liu Yaoqiang's family to take good care of the newly planted spiritual medicine, Lin Changqing left the space. After using his spiritual sense to search carefully again, he was relieved after still not finding any cultivators or monsters. He operated the 5 Elements Thunder Sutra to replenish the thunder spirit energy in the thunder shield that was consumed today. Today, he used the thunder shield and thought that the shield would come. It felt very practical, so he replenished the spirit energy as soon as possible. After finishing it, he was still a little excited, but Lin Changqing forced himself to close his eyes and rest. The next morning, Lin Changqing completed his training mission and prepared to set off for Xiangxiang Valley. Just like yesterday, he issued an early warning at high altitude on the first day of the new year and tried to avoid cultivators and monsters from various factions. After more than 2 hours, we finally approached Xiangxiang Valley. We could already smell the faint fragrance of flowers from a distance. No wonder it is called Xiangxiang Valley. When we entered the valley, we saw a lot of flowers blooming one by one. The bright sunshine sprinkled in the valley, and butterflies and bees were flying among the flowers. Standing here, we felt relaxed and happy. My mood got better inexplicably. If I could get a recliner and make a pot of JT, it would be a super enjoyment. I really want to transplant a few of each of these flowers and find a chance to plant them in the space later, but time is precious now and I dare not waste it casually. Let's go find the purple heart fruit tree first. Walking all the way inside, carefully avoiding the flowers, I have seen several traces of people passing by along the way. Now Lin Changqing has no hope of collecting purple heart fruit, but the rhizome of the purple heart fruit tree still needs to be taken back. After receiving Chuai's warning, 3 people were walking out from the depths of Xiangxiang Valley and would meet Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing did not want to conflict with them for the time being. He found a dense flower bush to hide in, and covered himself with a light gauze magic weapon. After thinking about it, he released all the purple crystal scorpions, lest he be discovered and wanted to fight, and he would not have time to release the purple crystal scorpions. After waiting for a while, 3 Danding sect monks wearing red and gold-rimmed clothes came out from the depths of Xiangxiang Valley. Fortunately, they did not find Lin Changqing and walked out directly. It seemed that they did not pick the purple heart fruit. After confirming that they were 7 or 8 miles away, Lin Changqing took back the purple crystal scorpions and rushed into the valley. It took a while to find 3 purple heart fruit trees, but there were only fruit trees left. The surroundings were in a mess. It seemed that someone had fought here. There were still a few bloodstains and some ashes on the ground. Let Chuai stare at the surroundings, and Lin Changqing began to dig up the rhizomes of the purple heart fruit trees, cutting off a 1-meter-long section from each tree, which should be able to survive. 100 spirit stones were put into each dug-up place, so that they could recover faster. After they were filled up completely, several spirit rain spells were cast. After confirming that there were no problems, Lin Changqing left. He dared not delay too much time now. He continued to move towards the direction of Wanshilin. The next destination was the lake center swamp that produced foundation-building fruit. More than a dozen foundation-building fruit trees were scattered in this swamp. After clarifying the goal, he set off quickly. This distance was a bit far. As usual, Chuai issued an early warning at high altitude and tried to avoid monks and monsters from various sects. This journey was really long. From morning till evening, he avoided more than a dozen waves of monsters and 8 groups of monks, and many of them were only 2 or 3 people. It seemed that he had to hurry up. Although it was evening. In order not to waste time, he still entered the lake center swamp to start searching. There were quite a few people in this area. Chuai had already received 3 or 4 early warnings. Even more than a mile away, people could be seen, but everyone was relatively restrained. No one came up to cause trouble. They were all searching on their own. Although no one came to cause trouble now, Lin Changqing was already prepared. He would not give others a chance to launch a surprise attack, and he kept searching deep into the swamp. In fact, he had already seen 2 foundation-building fruit trees, but neither of them had foundation-building fruit. Lin Changqing could not stop to dig its rhizomes now. The 6 major sects had a common agreement that they could only pick fruits and could not destroy fruit trees. The consequence of violating the agreement was death. So now he could only search deeper, and he would have to find another opportunity to cut the rhizomes. It was already dark, and the early warning range of the first day was greatly reduced. Just after receiving the early warning, there were people fighting about 2 miles ahead. In this case, it was very likely that the foundation-building fruit or some other treasure was found. Lin Changqing did not have any target, so he just quietly went over to join in the fun. Of course, he had to prepare before going. He covered the light gauze magic weapon first, and released only purple crystal scorpion, a purple crystal scorpion in the late first stage, and let it lie on Lin Changqing's shoulder, and then Lin Changqing slowly touched over. The previous battle had already attracted many monks. When Lin Changqing arrived, 11 monks from 4 sects and 5 monsters were already fighting. At this time, he definitely couldn't jump out, he could only watch quietly on the sidelines. Of course, preparations still needed to be made, and the purple crystal scorpions dispersed and moved out. Chapter 86. Being a fisherman. Hiding in the bushes dozens of meters away from the battlefield, although he was covered by a light gauze magic weapon, Lin Changqing did not dare to stare at the battlefield all the time. After all, the 5 senses of sword cultivators are very sharp. If they are discovered, they will definitely be dragged into this melee. Since they can't stare at the battlefield, of course they have to find out what they are fighting for. After carefully searching around, they finally saw a 1-meter-high foundation-building fruit tree, on which hung 12 foundation-building fruits as crystal clear and lovely as green jade. Although he was mentally prepared early in the morning, he couldn't help but feel happy and excited when he saw these foundation-building fruits. Lin Changqing read many books in the family scripture pavilion and knew that these foundation-building fruit trees were not called this name a long time ago. It was only later that it was discovered that this spiritual fruit had the function of protecting the meridians, enhancing toughness in a short period of time, and withstanding strong pressure that someone developed the foundation-building pill, and this fruit tree was renamed the foundation-building tree. Taking the foundation-building fruit directly can increase the success rate of the 3rd-level foundation building, but this method is too wasteful. The most appropriate method is to use it to refine the foundation-building pill. If you are lucky enough to get a full pill, you can get 10 foundation-building pills, which can be used by 10 people. The value is increased tenfold. Even if you are unlucky, as long as you can get 2 foundation-building pills, it is a sure win. There is only the 6th elder in the family, who is a 2nd-level alchemist, and it is not known whether he can refine the foundation-building pill. Of course, even if he can refine it, taking the foundation-building fruit directly is equivalent to 12 foundation-building pills. How can you not be happy? You have to know that this time, 3 generations of grandparents and grandchildren fought hard to get 3 foundation-building pills, but there are 12 here. That's why Lin Changqing couldn't help but be happy and excited. No wonder the battle on the scene was so fierce. Everyone wanted to enjoy it alone, at least they didn't want to give it to the cultivators of other sects. There were shouts, scolding, rumbling, spell explosions, screams, and all kinds of sounds mixed together. There have been quite a few casualties so far. The first to fall were the 3 monks from the Danding sect. Although their fire magic and secret arts were extremely powerful, they were helpless against the Yuling sect, which had a large number of people and beasts. In the end, the 3 of them still fell here. However, it did not make it easy for the Yuling sect monks who were fighting against them. Now there were only 2 monks left in the Yuling sect, and 5 spirit pets and another monk had already fallen. The other 2 monks from the Xianxing sword sect fought against the 2 men and 1 woman monks from the creation sect, but the result was not because of the large number of people. Instead, the 3 people from the creation sect fell under the sword formation of the 2 monks. That's right, one of them controlled 4 flying swords, and the other controlled 5 flying swords. It seemed that they were all some kind of sword formation. The 3 monks from the creation sect tried their best, but they could not break through the sword formation of the 2. Unfortunately, the 3 of them were not Taoist companions, and they had the secret art of joint attack, but they could not use it. In the end, all 3 of them were strangled in the sword formation. Only at the last desperate moment did they use their best means, several heavenly thunder seeds and yin thunder beads, to injure the 2 Xianxing sword sect monks. Now there are only 2 Yuling sect and 2 Xianxing sword sect monks left, but the spirit beasts of the Yuling sect monks have basically perished, and their abilities have been reduced to 80%, which is not much of a threat. At this time, a Yuling sect monk sighed and took the initiative to say, 2 Xianxing sword sect Daoists, we will withdraw from the fight, and the foundation building fruit belongs to you. After saying that, after bowing and saluting, the 2 of them immediately retreated quickly to the outer edge of the swamp. However, The two Xianxing sword sect monks did not seem to let them go. The two looked at each other, and then manipulated the sword formation to cover the Yuling sect monks in sight and attacked. Without spirit beasts in hand, the two Yuling sect monks were like toothless tigers, and had no decent power to fight back. They could only use defensive magic tools and defensive spirit talismans to withstand the attack of the sword formation. However, the two rushed twice, but failed to break out of the sword formation of the two Xianxing sword sect cultivators. Not long after two screams, only two Xianxing sword sect cultivators were left at the scene. One of the tall cultivators said, "Junior brother. 6 foundation building fruits for each person, you go up and pick them, I'll be on guard, hurry up, otherwise someone will come to pick them up." The other cultivator nodded, turned around, took out 2 jade boxes, and began to pick them. But at this moment, 5 flying swords rushed straight to the cultivator who was picking foundation building fruits. "Senior brother, what are you doing?" Obviously, the junior brother was also wary of the senior brother. 4 flying swords surrounded his body, and the defense was tight, leaving no chance for the senior brother. "Senior brother, isn't it better for each of us to take half? Why do you have to do this?" the junior brother continued to ask. "Junior brother, I'm sorry. There are too many resources required to practice the Xianxing Wanjian Sutra. I can't miss this opportunity. I want more resources," the senior brother said. "Bullshit, if you want resources, you won't rob others. Why do you want to attack your own junior brother?" the junior brother questioned. After a while, the junior brother said again, "Brother, stop. The 12 foundation building fruits and the spoils on the ground are all for you." The senior brother was a little moved when he heard this, but after hesitating for a while, he just said, "Junior brother, I'm sorry, brother, you are not doing this just for resources, right?" the junior brother asked with red eyes. The senior brother did not refute when he heard this, although he acquiesced, he just stepped up to activate the sword formation. Knowing that the senior brother would not stop, the junior brother did not speak again and concentrated on defense. However, he was attacked by Xianlizi and Yinlizi just now. Although both of them were injured, the junior brother was more seriously injured. Because he only controlled 4 flying swords, he was obviously weaker than the other cultivator, so the Xianlizi and Yinlizi just now were more likely to attack him. Now that so much time has passed, the spiritual energy in the junior brother's danshan has almost been consumed, and the injury can no longer be suppressed. He trembled all over, knowing that he could not escape. The junior brother suddenly looked behind the senior brother, and then shouted, "Junior sister. You are here." Then he gave up all defenses, and his body was immediately pierced by 5 flying swords, but his own 4 flying swords also pierced through the body of the senior brother. Obviously, the senior brother did not expect the junior brother to use this trick. The call of junior sister distracted him for a moment. Unexpectedly, this one hit directly took his life, and his body was pierced by 4 flying swords. This change was also beyond Lin Changqing's expectations. He originally thought that he would come out and deal with that senior brother. Unexpectedly, they died together. This is also good. Not only can you eat melons and enjoy a dog blood plot, but you don't have to get bloody yourself. It's really good. Not daring to delay time, he immediately ordered the purple crystal scorpion to finish off all the corpses. Every 4 or 5 purple crystal scorpions finished off a corpse to ensure that no one would fake death. Then he picked up the 12 foundation building fruits as soon as possible and put them away, and then collected the storage bags, spirit beast bags, spirit plant bags on all the corpses, and all the magic tools scattered at the scene, and of course, there were several corpses of monsters. After making sure that nothing was left out, he cast a fireball spell on each corpse, turning them back to dust. He didn't dare to stay too long, fearing that someone would come and take advantage of him, so he left the place immediately and moved about 10 miles outside the swamp. He found a hidden place, released the purple crystal scorpions and let them disperse, forming a 3-layer defense alert. Then he used his spiritual sense to scan carefully to make sure there were no monks or monsters around. He then entered the space with a lot of spoils. Chapter 87. Someone is looking for death and waiting for him. As soon as he entered the space, Lu Yaoqiang was the first to run to his side, followed by Lu Xiaoya and Lu Xiaoling. He fed them a nurturing spirit pill and let them play by themselves. He sorted all the spoils and arranged them in order. There were 16 storage bags, 7 spirit beast bags, and 13 spirit plant bags. It seemed that there should be other monks who fell into their hands, Otherwise there would not be so many storage bags. It was true that those who killed would be killed. After counting, there were 22 attack magic weapons, but many of them had the marks of various sects. There were 15 defense magic weapons, and most of them were damaged. Forget it, all the magic weapons will be handled by Lin Changqing. Now let's make a little sacrifice and see what's in the storage bag. Will there be any surprises? Pick up a storage bag and start refining. After success, pour out the contents inside, and pour out the contents of all 16 storage bags. First, there were the magic tools. There were more than a dozen magic tools, but they were all marked, so they were thrown aside. The most wanted secret manuals were not found. It seemed that the 6 major sects prohibited disciples from bringing secret manuals into the secret realm. Next were various elixirs. There seemed to be quite a lot of them, such as key recovering pills, rejuvenation pills, jade healing pills, key gathering pills, and soul raising pills. There were at least 10 bottles of each. There were also some unknown elixirs, among which the soul raising pills were particularly numerous, with more than 30 bottles. These should be the contributions of the monks of the Yuling sect. There were about 6 or 7,000 low-grade spirit stones in total, and 20 medium-grade spirit stones with various attributes. These were put aside first. Next were the messy sundries, such as Xianlizi and Yinlizi, with 3 or 4 of each, and spiritual talismans, a total of 6 or 7 dozen. Lin Changqing felt that he would not use them, so he did not sort them carefully. The clothes of those monks were gathered in a storage bag and placed in the space first, and then they would be dealt with together. The remaining ones were the jade boxes. There were a lot of them. They were supposed to be used to store spiritual medicines and herbs. I didn't expect that they would all fall into Lin Changqing's hands. He opened them one by one, and found that many of the jade boxes were empty. A large number of jade boxes finally opened, and 62 spiritual medicines and herbs were found, all of which were mature and ready for use. Among them, the main medicines for the foundation building pill and the purple mansion Twangsung pill were of 4 types, and 13 spiritual medicines. They were 3 golden silk lotus, 3 magic heart grass, 4 purple cloud fungus, and 3 purple heart fruits. The remaining 49 spiritual medicines also had more than a dozen types. I would carefully identify them when I had time. I planted all those that could be replanted in different areas, including the 3 sections cut today. The rhizomes of the purple heart fruit were also planted, and then handed over to Lu Yaoqiang's family to take care of. The next step was to deal with the spiritual beast bags and spiritual plant bags. After the 7 spiritual beast bags were slightly refined, it was found that 6 of them were empty. Only one of them had a dying white mouse in it. It looked a bit like a treasure hunting mouse. I wonder if it was? It should be that the spirit pet was attacked after the death of its master. I don't know how to deal with this, so I asked Lu Yaoqiang to cast 2 resurrection spells on it. Whether it can survive depends on itself. I checked all the spirit plant bags, and they were empty. There was nothing in them. Each spirit beast bag had the mark of the Yuling sect. There were also 10 spirit plant bags with marks. Only 3 of them without marks could be used. I will put them aside for now. I will deal with them together when I have time. I don't have time to deal with them now. There are also several corpses of monsters. I will find a storage bag to put them in and give them to the purple crystal scorpion and Shui as food. After seeing nothing missing, Lin Changqing left the space and used his spiritual sense to confirm that there were no other cultivators around. Only then did he rest assured. I don't know what happened to Chen Zilia, but fortunately, the purple crystal scorpion lent to her was fine, which proved that she was still safe. I took out the Pisces pendant and sensed it. The distance between the two was shortened by about half, so they should be able to meet in 2 to 3 days. Now, as long as he can get 1 or 2 pieces of the rhizome of the foundation building tree, Lin Changqing can continue his journey. Now, of the 9 main herbs, he has already obtained 6, and the remaining ones are purple monkey flower, 3-leaf green ganoderma and zhuangheron fruit. I didn't expect that I had obtained so many main herbs in just 2 days. Purple monkey flower and 3-leaf green ganoderma are both in Wanzhulan, so why not go directly to Wanzhulan? In case something happens to Chen Zilia, I will fail the trust of my great-grandmother and Senior Chen. It makes sense, so let's decide it. He called Chu Ai over, fed it some monster meat and a soul-raising pill, and then began to stroke its fur, which was equivalent to giving it a massage to relax it. After all, it was really hard to fly high in the sky for a long time to warn Lin Changqing. After massaging for a while, he took Chuai back to the spirit beast bag and told it to have a good rest, and he would continue to work tomorrow. Then Lin Changqing also took the time to rest himself. He had been traveling for a long time today and was a little tired. The next morning, Lin Changqing got up early and completed his training. Chuai had already flown around far away and confirmed that there were no people around the two foundation-building fruit trees he found when he entered the swamp yesterday. Lin Changqing hurried over and took advantage of the fact that there were no people around to successfully cut off 2 sections of rhizomes. He also placed 100 spiritual stones on each of the dug roots so that the foundation-building fruit trees could absorb and recover. After backfiling the soil, he cast a spiritual rain spell and a birth-inducing spell, and then hurriedly left the lake center swamp, fearing that he would be encountered by others on the way. Fortunately, Chuai helped to keep an eye on them, and he did not encounter other cultivators, and he left the lake center swamp very smoothly. Since the rhizomes of the foundation-building fruit trees have arrived, they will head directly towards the direction of the Wansu forest. It is also a way of not actively causing trouble. They will try to avoid them as much as possible, whether they are monsters or cultivators. Today is the 3rd day in the secret realm. If everything goes well, they can reach their destination in about a day and a half. Along the way, Chuai passed on to Lin Changqing more than a dozen messages about monks fighting monsters or monks fighting each other, but Lin Changqing was not interested in any of them, and did not want to be a fisherman. It was more important to rush to meet Chen Ziya. Of course, there are times when you can't avoid it, just like now. Chuai has already warned that there are 2 monks fighting in front. After receiving the warning, Lin Changqing adjusted his direction. Unexpectedly, he received another warning soon, and it was still those 2 people. Lin Changqing changed directions 3 times in succession, and those 2 people kept approaching. It was obvious that they were coming for Lin Changqing. In this case, if you can't avoid it, you can only face it. I just hope they will wait and don't regret it. I chose a favorable and suitable place, released a purple crystal scorpion first, and then hid myself with a light gauze magic weapon. The thunder horn was summoned and held in my hand. The spiritual energy was slowly injected into it, and the Jiangjin divine thunder was gradually generated. Not long after, I saw 2 monks, a man and a woman, chasing and running at high speed. When they got closer, they saw that one of them was a cultivator from the Xianxing sword sect wearing silver and gold-rimmed clothes, and the other was a female cultivator from the Xian'an sect wearing colorful clothes. The female cultivator from the Xian'an sect was being hunted down. When the hunted female cultivator came close and saw no one, she became very anxious and ran while dealing with the attacks of the cultivator from the Xianxing sword sect. Moreover, the female cultivator did not dare to run far away, so she circled nearby and shouted loudly, "Fellow Taoist, help me. I have 3 Zhuangheron fruits in my storage bag. Please save my life. I am willing to swear to be loyal to you forever." Lin Changqing ignored her and did not say anything, just to see what these 2 people were doing. After hearing what the female cultivator from the Xian'an sect said, the cultivator from the Xianxing sword sect sneered twice and then stepped up towards the sword formation. The female cultivator from the Xian'an sect was now trembling with fear, sweating profusely, and begged again, "Fellow Taoist, please save me. Xiao doesn't want to die." The cultivator from the Xianxing sword sect laughed and said, "If you surrender, I can spare your life." "You won't. You killed so many of our sisters. You will definitely not let me go?" the female cultivator from the Xian'an sect said with tears in her eyes. Chapter 88 picked up a little maid. Hearing this, Lin Changqing knew that he could not escape, so he walked out with a thunder horn in his hand, and then asked, "How can you always determine my location?" When the female cultivator heard Lin Changqing speak, she was overjoyed and said, "It's Xiaojin, a golden-winged bird I raised." At this time, the cultivator of the Xianxing sword sect said, "Dao, this is a grudge between her and me. Why do you have to intervene? It's better to leave quickly." The female cultivator was shocked. This was her only chance of survival. If this cultivator left, there would be absolutely no reason for her to survive. Thinking of this, she immediately made up her mind and swore, with the heaven and earth as witnesses and the Tao as witnesses, "I, Xiao, am willing to recognize the cultivator in front of me as my master, serve him for life, and never betray him forever. If you violate this oath, your soul will be scattered immediately and you will never enter reincarnation." As soon as the oath was made, a magical power descended on Lin Changqing's sea of consciousness, forming a small silver rune. Lin Changqing knew that he could not delay any longer. With a thud, the thunder horn shot out the Jingjing divine thunder that he had prepared just now. The cultivator from the Xianxing sword sect did not expect the situation to change so quickly, and what attacked him was not a magic weapon or a spell, but a Jingjing divine thunder. The flying sword left in front of him for protection could not block it at all, and he was blasted to pieces with his sword. Mu Xiaoxiao was also shocked, but when she saw that she was finally saved, she relaxed and sat on the ground. At this time, Lin Changqing had also walked over. Mu Xiaoxiao looked at the person who came carefully. He looked ordinary, and she couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. She herself didn't know why she had such emotions. Maybe it was because this person was her master. She quickly stood up and said respectfully, Mu Xiaoxiao meets the master, thank you for saving my life. Lin Changqing nodded, and then he had the opportunity to take a closer look. The little maid who suddenly appeared in front of him was 7 or 8 centimeters shorter than Lin Changqing. She looked quite delicate and had the feeling of a girl next door. Tell me what happened, Lin Changqing said. Yes, the 8 of us finally gathered together in the secret realm, thinking of walking around to find some spiritual medicine, but we were ambushed by the Xianxing sword sect, and 3 of us died on the spot. The 9th sister detonated several Yinlei beads, creating an opportunity for us to escape separately. I ran in this direction under the guidance of Xiao Jin, and then I met the master. After saying this, he hesitated, as if he had something to say. Lin Changqing looked at it and said helplessly, just say what you want to say, why are you making such a gesture? Mu Xiaoxiao said flatteringly, Master, you are so powerful, can you save the 9th sister? I saw her running out, and someone from the Xianxing sword sect was chasing her. Hearing her say this, Lin Changqing rolled his eyes at her, began to pick up the spoils on the ground, and then recalled the purple crystal scorpion group. Mu Xiaoxiao didn't expect that there were so many of the master's spiritual insects around. Fortunately, she took the initiative to recognize the master, otherwise she didn't know what the consequences would be. She didn't expect that she would actually walk through the gates of hell twice. A fireball spell destroyed the corpse. After confirming that there was nothing missing, he was about to set off in the direction of Wanshilin. Suddenly, he remembered something. You just said you had 3 Zhuanghuang fruits, give them to me, Lin Changqing said unceremoniously. Oh, yes, Mu Xiaoxiao quickly took out a jade box and handed it to Lin Changqing. When he opened it, he saw 3 golden fruits inside, which were confirmed to be Zhuanghuang fruits. Lin Changqing nodded and said, these 3 Zhuanghuang fruits are my reward for saving you. You are not allowed to disclose any information about me. Forget about the oath you made. Go back to find your companions. After saying that, Lin Changqing set off without waiting for her reply. He really didn't plan to bring a little maid with him. It was inconvenient and there was a risk of exposing his identity. Seeing Lin Changqing leave after saying this, Mu Xiaoxiao gritted her teeth and followed him, without saying a word, and followed him all the time. Lin Changqing was speechless and ignored her, and directly accelerated his speed towards Wanshilin. Mu Xiaoxiao also gritted her teeth and followed, treating her wounds. She hadn't rested since she was chased, but she was still stubborn and refused to give up. After walking for a while, Lin Changqing knew that she had the golden winged bird and couldn't get rid of her, so he found a place to stop and rest. What do you think? Isn't it good to let you go? I have a mission and can't help you, Lin Changqing said it directly. Mu Xiaoxiao also sat down to rest. After listening to what Lin Changqing said, she shook her head and said, Master, this oath is not made casually, especially for disciples who practice the Heart Sutra. Moreover, the secret realm is so dangerous. If you don't follow the master, wouldn't it be stupid? Then you can follow me after leaving the secret realm, Lin Changqing asked back. If the master wants me to follow, I will sneak out of the sect and run to follow you, Mu Xiaoxiao blinked and said. Lin Changqing was speechless. Is he treating himself as a bodyguard? Then what's the point of me taking you with me? I can sing for the master. If the master likes it, I can dance. I can also make tea, Mu Xiaoxiao said with a little pride. Lin Changqing said, actually, you have another advantage, but you didn't tell me, Mu Xiaoxiao asked curiously, what advantage is it? Lin Changqing glanced at her and said, you run fast, and that sword cultivator couldn't catch up with you. Mu Xiaoxiao laughed non-stop after hearing this, and finally controlled herself and said, Master, you are so good at joking. I thought you were just a boring wooden man. Lin Changqing shook his head and said, I have to go and protect someone. It's not convenient for you to follow me. You should stay with your fellow disciples first. Mu Xiaoxiao shook her head quickly and said, No, I must follow the master, otherwise I will definitely die in the secret realm. After saying that, she looked at Lin Changqing pitifully. Lin Changqing thought for a while and asked, alchemy, refining, array formation, drawing talismans, planting, which one can you do? Mu Xiaoxiao blinked and said, does it count if you can grow flowers? Does it count if you can raise golden-winged birds? Lin Changqing was so angry that he laughed and didn't want to speak any more. After a while, seeing that they had rested enough, they set off directly, and Mu Xiaoxiao hurried to follow. It was still the same principle of not causing trouble, and avoiding it as much as possible. After walking for more than an hour, Chu Ai warned that there was a battle ahead. Lin Changqing adjusted the direction and prepared to avoid it. At this time, Mu Xiaoxiao screamed ah. Lin Changqing glanced at her and asked, what's wrong with you? Mu Xiaoxiao excitedly pulled Lin Changqing's hand and said, it's the ninth sister, the master, please, save her, please. Seeing her like this, it seemed that she would not let go unless Lin Changqing agreed. Lin Changqing had no choice but to agree to go over and take a look. The two of them approached the place where the fighting waves were coming from, and saw that a man and a woman were fighting. To be more precise, it should be the female cultivator from the Xian'an sect who is trapped in the sword formation. It seems that they have been fighting for a while, and the female cultivator is already in danger. When Mu Xiaoxiao saw this, her heart beat violently, and it felt like it was going to jump out of her chest, but she forced herself not to make a sound. She could only nervously shake Lin Changqing's hand, her eyes filled with tears, and she looked at Lin Changqing with pleading eyes. Lin Changqing sighed, and began to inject spiritual energy into the thunder horn. When it was almost done, he walked over. Mu Xiaoxiao also hurriedly followed into the battlefield, and then shouted, Ninth senior sister, I'm here to help you. Then he controlled the flying sword and rushed straight towards the cultivators of Xianqing sword sect. The cultivators of Xianqing sword sect, seeing the two people coming, had already decided to retreat and were about to withdraw. Mu Xiaoxiao's flying sword was already approaching her, so she could only draw out two flying swords from the sword formation that surrounded Senior Sister 9 to fight the enemy, and then flew back. Senior Sister 9 saw that the cultivators of Xianqing sword sect wanted to escape, and shouted, leave him behind. Mu Xiaoxiao also shouted, Master. As soon as the words fell, there was a loud bang, and the Zhengjing divine thunder was approaching. The cultivators of Xianqing sword sect only had time to scream, and then they were torn into pieces. Mu Xiaoxiao cheered, turned to look at Senior Sister 9, and found that she was shaky and about to faint. She screamed, Senior Sister 9. He hurried over to check and found that it was just excessive blood loss and exhaustion of spiritual energy. He felt a little relieved, and then quickly stopped the bleeding, applied medicine, and bandaged the ninth senior sister, and then took out some pills from the storage bag for the senior sister to take. Mu Xiaoxiao went to apply medicine and bandage her senior sister. It was inconvenient for Lin Changqing to go over, so he cleaned up the scene, including the storage bag, the spiritual plant bag, the 5 magic flying swords, etc., and then cleaned up the scene with a fireball spell. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89 Mu Xiaoxiao wants to buy one get one free? Seeing that Mu Xiaoxiao had already treated her sister's wound, Lin Changqing still felt that it would be better to leave quickly, and said to Mu Xiaoxiao, let's leave here first, in case other people hear the noise and come over. Mu Xiaoxiao nodded, then hugged her ninth sister and followed Lin Changqing to leave quickly. After flying for a while, they found a hidden place to land more than 10 miles away. Knowing that the two of them must have a lot to say, Lin Changqing automatically avoided them and let them talk first. At this time, Mu Xiaoxiao's sister, after taking the medicine, was in a better condition. After all, she was not fatally injured, but was just a little weak after losing too much blood. Xiaoxiao, are you alone? How are the other sisters and junior sisters? Any news? The ninth sister's face was very pale, but she still asked the question in her heart at the first time. Mu Xiaoxiao shook her head and said sadly, Sister, I don't know. Just now you triggered the thunder bead, and I rushed out as you said, but there was a man from the SYNOPSIS sword sect chasing me. I couldn't beat him, and I couldn't run away. I was very scared at the time, so I could only run desperately until I met the master, and was saved by him. There is no news about the other sisters, Master. Xiaoxio, the ninth sister looked at her in disbelief. Mu Xiaoxio nodded, confirming the idea in the ninth sister's heart. Then she said, yes, I met the master, and he saved me. The situation was urgent at the time, and I had no choice but to take a gamble. No matter how bad it was better than dying on the spot. When the ninth sister heard Mu Xiaoxio say this, she was so sad that she couldn't help herself. Tears fell down, and she blamed herself very much, feeling that she had not taken good care of these little sisters. Several sisters who usually played well together, some died, some escaped, and most likely could not escape. Now Mu Xiaoxio lost her freedom in order to survive. How could she not be sad? After a while, she finally calmed down a little. What kind of person is he? Is he good to you? The ninth sister asked with tears in her eyes. Mu Xiaoxio thought for a while and said, not bad. He can make me laugh, and he is very powerful. You also saw the cultivator from the SYNOPSIS sword sect who was chasing you. He was torn into pieces by a divine thunder. The one who was chasing me had the same fate. Which sect is he from? What's his name? The ninth sister was curious. How could such a powerful cultivator suddenly appear, and she had never heard of him? This question made Mu Xiaoxio a little embarrassed. She didn't even know which sect the master was from, and didn't know his name. Mu Xiaoxio could only explain in a low voice, I have only been following him for a short time, and I don't know a lot of things yet. Ninth senior sister sighed and said, why don't we ask him to come over and ask for advice in person? He just saved me, and I haven't thanked him for saving my life in person yet. Mu Xiaoxio nodded and said, okay. And I have to ask the master how to range us. Mu Xiaoxio found Lin Changqing a little further away and asked him to come over to talk. Lin Changqing followed Mu Xiaoxio to her senior sister, and seeing that she looked better, he nodded as a greeting. Ninth senior sister looked at Lin Changqing's appearance and sighed in her heart. Sadness surged into her heart again. Such an outstanding and beautiful junior sister actually deserves a man with such an ordinary appearance. It's really. She quickly adjusted her mood and said, I'm Lu Yuling from the Xian'an sect. Thank you for saving my life. What's your name? Which sect do you belong to? Lin Changqing said, it's just a small favor. I don't deserve your life-saving grace. Besides, it was Mu Xiaoxio who pestered me to go. If you want to thank someone, thank her. My surname is Gao, my name is Dishui, and I'm a disciple of King Guyan. It's impossible for Lin Changqing to tell her his true identity. Now that he has provoked the SYNOPSIS sword sect, he can't let others know his true identity. Lu Yuling nodded. I wonder how senior brother Gao is going to arrange Xiaoxio. Lin Changqing looked at her strangely and said, of course she will go back to where she came from. I asked her to stay with her fellow disciples early in the morning. You don't have to take that oath seriously. And I have a mission, so I can't stay to help you. So I hope Mu Xiaoxio will stay with you so that we can take care of each other. Lu Yuling said, Senior brother Gao is a real gentleman, but that oath is not simple. You can't take it lightly if you want to. Lin Changqing shook his head and said, at that time, Mu Xiaoxio's oath was to recognize me as her master and never betray me forever. It didn't say that she must follow me. And you can also understand that I asked her to go back to Xian'an sect with you. Isn't that enough? Lu Yuling didn't expect Lin Changqing's attitude to be like this, which was completely opposite to what she thought. I don't know what the mission is that senior brother Gao is talking about. We can also do our part, Lu Yuling said sincerely. The mission to enter the secret realm this time is to protect someone. It must be inconvenient to bring you with me. Sorry, Lin Changqing still didn't want to take them with him. At this time, Mu Xiaoxio said, Master, just take us with you. At most, we can dance for you. Senior sister dances beautifully. Lu Yuling glared at Mu Xiaoxio fiercely, and said to Lin Changqing, Senior brother Gao, don't listen to Xiaoxio's nonsense. We can take care of ourselves. When the time comes, we can find a way to meet up with a few more fellow disciples, and it will be much safer. Lin Changqing nodded, and said to Mu Xiaoxio seriously, from now on, just call me Senior brother Gao, don't call me Master. After returning to the sect with your senior sister, you should practice well. Don't be careless, and don't take the oath seriously. On weekdays, practice when you should practice, and learn skills when you should learn skills. I won't look for you, and you are not allowed to come to me, let alone disclose any information about me to anyone. If we meet in the future, I don't take the initiative to say hello to you, just pretend you don't know me. Do you understand? Mu Xiaoxiao replied reluctantly. I understand. Lin Changqing turned to Lu Yuling and said, please don't disclose any information about me to anyone, Sister Lu. I don't want to cause trouble. Lu Yuling nodded and said, okay, I promise not to mention your existence to anyone in the future. Lin Changqing nodded and said, thank you for your understanding, Junior Sister Lu. These are for your self-defense. After that, he took out the 3 Xianlai seeds and 4 Yinlai beads he had seized, as well as 6 or 7 dozen spiritual talismans, and gave them all to them. He also took out the 4 earth escape talismans his mother had given him. After thinking for a while, he took out 2 more Zhuguo and handed them to Mu Xiaoxiao. He said, this is 100-year-old Zhuguo. Each of you will get one. Find a place to hide it and don't go any deeper. I hope you can leave the secret realm safely and see you again in the future. After that, he bowed and turned to leave. Master, when can I go to see you? I haven't danced for you yet, Mu Xiaoxiao asked. Wait until you reach the Jinden stage, Lin Changqing responded casually. Lu Yuling also said, thank you, Senior Brother Gao. You can also come to Xian'an sect to find Yuling in the future. Yuling will definitely welcome you. Lin Changqing nodded, bowed and said goodbye. Thank you, Junior Sister. See you later. After that, he flew away with his flying sword and headed towards Wanshilin. Because Mu Xiaoxiao and Lu Yuling had delayed for half a day, he had to make up for this progress. He flew with all his strength. He saw many cultivators and monsters on the way. With the help of Chui, Lin Changqing avoided them from a distance. He didn't stop much on the way just to get to Wanshilin as soon as possible. After rushing for several hours, the sky had completely darkened. Chui's warning range was greatly reduced. Lin Changqing had no choice but to find a suitable place to rest. It is estimated that if everything goes well, he will be able to reach Wanshilin around noon tomorrow. After choosing a place, release the purple crystal scorpion group and arrange it into a 3-layer defense warning. In this way, Lin Changqing can rest more at ease. Chapter 90, Ugly Monster in Danger. When Lin Changqing was about to take a break, he suddenly remembered that there were still 2 Xianxing sword sect monk storage bags that had not been opened. After a little sacrifice, he poured out all the things. There were 10 magic flying swords, 2 of which had been deformed by Lin Changqing. There were more than 800 low-grade spiritual stones, 5 medium-grade spiritual stones, and several bottles of each kind of elixir. Now there were a lot of various elixirs in Lin Changqing's space. Among the messy sundries, some talismans and practice notes were found. These would be sorted out when there was time. There were still none of the secret techniques, so it seemed that they could not be counted on. There were also 70 or 80 jade boxes. The key harvests were all here. A total of 23 spiritual medicines were opened, including 7 main medicines, 4 huinxin grasses, and 3 zhuangheron fruits. The others were ordinary mature spiritual medicines. I still checked the surroundings first and confirmed that there was no problem before sending them into the space. After playing with Liu Yaoqiang's family for a while, all the spiritual herbs and herbs that could be planted were planted, and the magic tools were put together with the ones seized before. When the time came, all the spoils were processed in the same way as before, with no difference. After inspecting and finding no problems, he exited the space. After traveling for a long time today, he was a little tired, so Lin Changqing had to take a rest. After Lin Changqing left, Lu Yuling and Mu Xiaoxiao were also talking about Mu Xiaoxiao's senior brother Gao. Lu Yuling sighed, I didn't expect that there is someone with such noble character as senior brother Gao. Xiaoxiao, you are so lucky, but you look a little ordinary. Mu Xiaoxiao also nodded and said, yes. The master is much better than those colorfully dressed senior brothers and junior brothers in the sect. I deliberately tested him, but he didn't touch me. Senior sister, next time we meet him, let's dance for him. He must have never seen such a beautiful dance. Upon hearing this, Lu Yuling pinched Mu Xiaoxiao hard and glared at her and said, if you want to dance, dance by yourself. He is your master, not mine. Why do you drag me along? Mu Xiaoxiao screamed, Senior sister, you have such a cruel heart. You pinched so hard that it turned blue. Senior sister, Didn't you say that the bed was ready? The bed is ready. Are you afraid of a dance? Mu Xiaoxiao deliberately distorted it and made fun of her. Lu Yuling laughed angrily. I said I was welcoming you with all my heart. When did I say I was waiting for you? If you keep talking nonsense, I'll tear your mouth off, Mu Xiaoxiao said with a smile. That's what I meant. I heard it all. It's no use for you to deny it. Mu Xiaoxiao continued to make trouble. Lu Yuling was so angry that she didn't want to pay attention to her. On the other side, Chen Ziyai was also in danger. When she first landed, she was very lucky. After adapting to it, she compared the terrain with a jade slip and confirmed that she was near the psychedelic valley. Then she took out a double fishing pendant to sense Lin Changqing's position and found that the distance was still far. Then she could only meet up in the 10,000 bamboo forest as agreed. Now that she has landed near the psychedelic valley, she will go in and look for the illusion heartgrass first. It happened that she had just landed, so there should be no talents now. Although she didn't like fighting, it didn't mean that she had to give up such a rare opportunity. After identifying the direction, she flew quickly to the psychedelic valley and arrived in a short while. After a little hesitation, she went in. The psychedelic valley produces the illusion heartgrass. Of course, there are some other spiritual medicines and herbs, but the most famous one is the illusion heartgrass. Because the valley is often surrounded by fog and the terrain is often lost, some monks who enter it have never left, so it is named the psychedelic valley. It also takes some luck to enter and find the illusion heartgrass. Fortunately, Chen Ziyai is lucky and may be the first monk to step into the psychedelic valley. Soon I found a bunch of illusion heartgrass, 3 of which were mature, and the others were still seedlings. I only picked 3 mature illusion heartgrass, and the immature ones were left in place. After collecting them, I continued to search deep into the psychedelic valley. After working for most of the day, I harvested a total of 15 illusion heartgrass. I felt that it was enough, so I started to walk back following the marks I left. Chen Ziyai didn't have Chu Ai to help with a warning, and she met other monks twice on the way. Fortunately, everyone had just entered the secret realm and didn't gain much, so everyone kept their distance and didn't mean to take action. This allowed Chen Ziyai to leave the psychedelic valley smoothly and fly towards the bamboo forest. The first 2 days were safe and sound, but she was not used to the life of sleeping in the open air in the secret realm. After all, she had never had this experience before, and she had not considered this aspect. Her grandmother and great-grandmother had not taught her experience in this regard. Fortunately, she had explored it for 2 days and now she was a little adapted. She got up early on the 3rd day, packed up and started on her way. She happened to pass by the hidden mist forest where the purple cloud fungus was produced. Now she was considering whether to take a detour, but if she took a detour, it might take half a day to a day. After thinking about it, she decided to go straight through the hidden mist forest. She didn't go to find the purple cloud fungus. After making up her mind, she went directly into the hidden mist forest. It was quite smooth at the beginning. After traveling more than half of the way, Chen Ziyai was spotted by 2 monks from the Yuling sect at first. They just stared at her from a distance, and then gradually approached. Fortunately, Chen Ziyai was also more alert and kept an eye on the surrounding situation. After finding out that she was being targeted, she immediately decided to place the array plate of the first-level top-level defensive array, the thick earth mountain guarding array, in a suitable place, and then activated the defensive magic weapon in her hand. The cultivator of the Yuling sect knew that she was discovered, and no longer hid, and rushed directly towards Chen Ziyai. Seeing that it was indeed coming for her, Chen Ziyai immediately activated the array plate, and a semi-transparent light shield of khaki color enveloped Chen Ziyai. Chen Ziyai looked at the cultivator of the Yuling sect and asked in a cold voice, "What do you two want?" The 2 Yuling sect cultivators looked at each other and sneered. "What do you want? Of course, you want your storage bag. Throw out the storage bag and we will leave immediately." Although Chen Ziyai had little experience, it did not mean that she was stupid. If she threw out the storage bag, she would definitely not be spared. Shaking her head, she stopped talking. Seeing this, she knew that there was no way to fool this female cultivator. The 2 Yuling sect cultivators also released 2 spirit beasts from their spirit beast bags and directly began to attack the defensive array. All of a sudden, Chen Ziyai had to deal with 2 monks and 4 spirit beasts alone. The pressure increased dramatically, but fortunately she was still calm and controlled the magic circle to start defense. She herself now regretted not setting up the attack magic circle, and now she was a little passive. She could only try to use magic tools to attack the spirit beasts outside the magic circle, but they cooperated very well, and Chen Ziya did not achieve any results at all. At this time, she began to get anxious. She found some talismans from the storage bag, activated them all at once, and smashed them out. This time, she did achieve some results. A swift-winged wolf was seriously injured and was taken back to the spirit beast bag by the spirit beast owner. But this also angered the two Yuling sect monks, and they also began to take out talismans from their storage bags to bombard the magic circle. As a result, the spirit stones on the array disk were quickly consumed. Chen Ziya quickly replaced them with new spirit stones. She was already a little flustered, and her body was sweating from nervousness. The two beast-taming sect monks teased her while attacking the magic circle, saying that she had a good figure, but she covered her face and didn't dare to see people. She didn't know if she was ugly. Chen Ziya finally reacted and quickly adjusted the magic circle so that outsiders could not see inside. Now she knew why her great-grandmother and grandmother had to find a bodyguard for her. At this time, she wanted Lin Changqing to be by her side. Thinking of how she was cold and indifferent to Lin Changqing, although this was her personality, she felt a little cold and unkind now. She felt a little embarrassed when she thought about it now. Chapter 91 Crying with Joy. When I thought of Lin Changqing, I immediately thought of the spirit beast bag he gave me. Last time in my room, Lin Changqing let me see the power of these spirit insects. Great, they will definitely help me out. Thinking of this, Chen Ziya seemed to have caught a life-saving straw, and hurriedly took out the spirit beast bag. I released the 24 purple crystal scorpions inside, and I didn't know how to command them. I could only open a small hole on the side where no one attacked, and let them out. I remember Lin Changqing said that I don't need to care about them after releasing them. After hearing screams, I can go out to clean up the scene. But I am not their master, I can't command them, and I don't know if they will be so powerful. With a nervous mood, Chen Ziya has been trying to manipulate the magic circle to defend against attacks from outside. It felt like a long time had passed. Chen Ziya suddenly heard a scream that was extremely shrill. It was hard to imagine how a person could make such a sharp sound. Then, another monk shouted in shock, "Brother, what happened? How are you?" Then there was another very shrill scream. This time, no one spoke. Then there were several consecutive screams from different people or spirit beasts. After that, there was a dead silence outside. Chen Ziya couldn't help but want to see what happened. She adjusted the magic circle and looked out from the translucent magic circle. She found that all the monks and spirit beasts were lying on the ground in a mess, motionless, as if they were all dead. However, the situation was unclear and she was worried, so she couldn't help but control the flying sword and made several more swords on the two fallen monks and spirit beasts. Then she carefully left the defense magic circle and confirmed that all the monks and spirit beasts were dead, and she breathed a sigh of relief. As a result, she relaxed her mind and sat directly on the ground. It was too exciting. If possible, she really didn't want to experience it again. After waiting for a long time, she finally came to her senses. Thinking of the teachings of her grandmother and the other sisters, she forced herself to be strong and resisted the nausea. She took away the storage bags, spirit beast bags, spirit plant bags, and magic tools left at the scene from the two Yuling sect monks who were stabbed by her flying sword. Then, resisting the discomfort, she threw 2 fireballs at the corpses. Seeing the 3 spirit beast corpses on the ground, she remembered that Lin Changqing had said that every 2 days, they should be fed with some monster meat and some spirit stones or spirit crystals for them to chew. She actually forgot about it. She deserved to be frightened just now. Now these were protecting her little babies. They couldn't be hungry. She quickly took away the 3 spirit beast corpses on the ground. Then she took back the array plate of the thick earth-guarding mountain array, but the problem came again, because the purple crystal scorpions were invisible, and there was no response when she called them back. She didn't know how to call back the purple crystal scorpions. She was so anxious that she was spinning around. Coupled with the shock just now, she couldn't hold back her tears. She kept falling. She never thought she would go through so many hardships. Fortunately, after crying for a while, she forced herself to calm down. She remembered that Lin Changqing had told them to protect themselves. If she left, would they have to leave too? She tried to fly forward for more than 100 meters, and sure enough, 24 amethyst scorpions came towards her. Chen Ziyai jumped up with joy and almost cried again. I didn't expect that. I was quite smart. I didn't dare to delay and quickly put them all into the spirit beast bag, put dozens of spirit stones in it for them to chew, and then quickly left this place. There was still a little half of the journey left to leave the hidden mist forest. I had to pass it quickly, otherwise I might have to stay in the hidden mist forest at night. Fortunately, the next journey was smooth. When I was about to leave the forest, I met the monks of the creation sect again, but the other party also kept a distance and looked at her nervously, without any intention of taking action. Chen Ziyai left quickly, and her nervous palms began to sweat. Fortunately, those amethyst-like scorpion spirit insects of Lin Changqing gave her some sense of security, and she was not as panicked as before. After flying forward for a distance, she found a place that looked okay and placed the first level thick earth mountain defense array and the flaming golden knife array. When needed, they could be quickly activated. Finally, she could rest in peace. She didn't know how she felt when she relaxed. Looking back on the experience of the whole day, it was really more than what she had experienced in the past 10 years. She only hoped to reach Wanzhou Forest as soon as possible tomorrow and meet up with Lin Changqing smoothly. With Lin Changqing by her side, it should be much safer. This was the first time that Chen Ziyai wanted to see Lin Changqing so urgently. By the way, she remembered that Lin Changqing had not fed the purple crystal scorpion yet. She chose a monster corpse and released it. She resisted the discomfort and quickly cut off a large piece of monster meat. Then she released them from the spirit beast bag and put the meat in front of them for these little guys to eat. Looking at their purple and crystal clear appearance, they were really beautiful. She wanted to take one to study, especially after seeing how powerful they were today, but as long as she got too close, their tail needles would point at her. She sighed. After all, it was not her spirit insect. So she could only watch from a relatively close distance, and after they stopped eating, she put them into the spirit beast bag. There were also 2 storage bags and spirit plant bags of the Yuling sect monks, so she checked them out as well. Although she didn't need those main medicines too much, she believed that her grandmother must have prepared her foundation building pill. But after all, they were the main medicines of the foundation building pill and the purple mansion Tuangsuan pill. It would be better if she could bring more back. You have to know that it was her great-grandmother who led the team this time. If she brought back too few main medicines this time, her great-grandmother would be ashamed. After a little sacrifice, she poured the things on the ground and directly poured out the contents of the 2 storage bags and the 2 spirit plant bags. She was not interested in the magic tools and sundries, so she took back one of the storage bags. There were more than 1,000 low-grade spirit stones and 4 medium-grade spirit stones. These were all needed for the formation, and she put them in her own storage bag. There were also quite a lot of elixirs, including key recovering elixirs, rejuvenation elixirs, key gathering elixirs, etc. There were several bottles of each, and the most were more than 20 bottles. Chen Ziyai guessed that it might be the soul regenerating elixir. Although she had never seen this kind of elixir, she believed that her guess was absolutely right. After seeing Lin Changqing, she would give them to him. He had so many spiritual insects to raise, and he must need them. The rest were all a pile of jade boxes. She opened and sorted them one by one, and found a total of 33 spiritual medicines, of which 13 were main medicines. They were 6 purple cloud fungus, 4 3-leaf green fungus, and 3 purple monkey flowers. The others were ordinary mature spiritual medicines. Could it be that the 2 fallen Yuling sect monks came from the Wanzhou forest? I don't know if there are many monks there. She didn't want to see any other monks except Lin Changqing. She sorted the things into different categories and put them in the storage bag. She took out the double fishing jade pendant and sensed the distance between her and Lin Changqing. She found that she was much closer, which made her feel inexplicably comforted. Then she lay down to rest, hoping that she could smoothly meet up with Lin Changqing in Wanzhou tomorrow and that no more accidents would happen. She really didn't want to go through what happened today again. Chapter 92, Straw Punch. The next morning, Lin Changqing got up early. After completing his training, he recalled the purple crystal scorpion group. After packing up, he prepared to set off in the direction of Wanzhou. He should be able to arrive there at noon today. Of course, before leaving, he looked at the Shuangayupe and found that he was much closer to Chen Ziyai. She should also be able to arrive in Wanzhou today, so Lin Changqing felt more at ease. Chuai had already flown a large circle in the sky around him and found a group of Qinghai insect monks and several monsters. Lin Changqing didn't want to cause trouble, so he avoided them and continued to move forward to Wanshilin. Now Lin Changqing already has 7 of the 9 main medicines for the foundation building pill and the purple mansion Tuangsuan pill. There are only 2 left, the purple monkey flower and the 3-leaf green Ganoderma, which can also be found in Wanshilin. So if there are places producing various spiritual medicines along the way, Lin Changqing is not going to go in and decides to go straight to Wanshilin. Moreover, Lin Changqing had his own plans for rushing to Wanshu Garden. He wanted to find some purple monkey flowers and 3-leaf green Ganoderma and transplant them into the space first, otherwise, it would be inconvenient to wait until he met up with Chen Ziya. With Chuai staring at him, Lin Changqing was not afraid of someone attacking him, so he moved very fast. After rushing for 2 or 3 hours, he finally arrived at his destination smoothly. It was already the 4th day since the secret realm was opened. Lin Changqing believed that the purple monkey flowers and 3-leaf green Ganoderma on the outskirts of Wanshu Forest must have been searched several times. There were definitely very few now, so he decided not to waste time and went directly to the depths of Wanshu Forest to search. After going deep into a certain depth, Lin Changqing felt that it was almost done, so he stopped and searched carefully with his spiritual sense. After searching for more than half an hour, he finally found something. Among several dead bamboos, he found a small piece of 3-leaf green Ganoderma, one of which was already mature, and there were 4 seedlings. Lin Changqing quickly transplanted them out and put them into the spiritual plant bag. Then he continued to search downwards. Time was very tight and he couldn't waste any time. He used his spiritual sense to search carefully along the way, while Chuai was on guard above, so that Lin Changqing could rest assured to search for spiritual medicines. After 3 hours, he found a total of 23 spiritual medicines, including 2 mature monkey flowers, 9 seedlings, 1 mature 3-leaf green Ganoderma, and 11 seedlings. In fact, many of them were found by others first, and the mature spiritual medicines were taken away, but the seedlings were not moved and left in place. When they met Lin Changqing, they were caught in one fell swoop. With these gains, Lin Changqing was very satisfied. He found a hidden place, and after confirming that there was no one around, he left the purple crystal scorpion on guard before entering the space with confidence. Liu Yaoqiang's family all surrounded them, but Lin Changqing didn't have much time to play with them. He could only stroke the fur of each one, and then fed each of them a spiritual pill, dealt with it hastily, and let them play by themselves. Then he planted these spiritual medicines and seedlings in different areas, and put 2 spiritual rain spells, and the rest was left to Liu Yaoqiang's family to take care of. She hurried out of the space and now had to rush to the direction where Chen Ziya came from. Chen Ziya should be almost there. Chen Ziya also got up early in the morning, took back the 2 array plates, and after checking that there was nothing missing, she also set off towards the 10,000 bamboo forest. However, she did not have a spirit beast like Chuai to provide early warning. After flying for 2 or 3 hours, she still encountered something. 3 Danding sect cultivators were besieging 2 Qingyuan sect disciples. If they were unfamiliar Qingyuan sect disciples, she could ignore them, but one of these 2 people was someone she knew. Her name was Huyana, and one of her elders was also a giant and cultivator who often visited her great-grandmother. Chen Ziya had also met her several times at her great-grandmother's place, and they were considered nodding acquaintances. If she hadn't met her, she wouldn't have known, but now that she saw her, she couldn't bear to stand by and watch. And now the 5 people on the battlefield had also seen her, and didn't give her much time to think. When Huyana saw that it was her, she was immediately overjoyed, as if she had caught a life-saving straw, and called out to her loudly, "Senior Sister Chen, that's great, come and help me." Seeing that the person who came was also from Qingyuan sect, the 3 cultivators from Danding sect also exchanged ideas. One of the cultivators said, "Junior brother K, this one coming here is left to you." Another cultivator nodded, and then immediately rushed towards Chen Ziya. Chen Ziya was not good at fighting at all, and was not prepared at all. Seeing someone rushing towards her, her heart was pounding, and she could only turn around and run back in a hurry. Fortunately, she still remembered her most important support, and her hand subconsciously reached for the spirit beast bag and released all 24 purple crystal scorpions. Then she hurriedly took out the defensive magic weapon from the storage bag, activated it and protected it beside her, and did not take out the offensive magic weapon, obviously putting all her hopes on the purple crystal scorpion. The fellow student Kaya who rushed over also saw that the person released some scorpion-like spirit insects from the spirit beast bag, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Now he didn't dare to get closer, and only attacked Chen Ziya with magic tools from a little distance, just to delay the person first, and wait for the two brothers to succeed, and then come to help deal with the female cultivator who released the scorpion. Moreover, he didn't dare to stay in one place, and kept moving and changing positions. It was to prevent the attacks of those spirit insects. Of course, his hands did not stop, and he was quickly forming the hand seals of the explosive flame technique. From these countermeasures, it is not difficult to see that this person is a combat cultivator with rich experience in fighting, and he handled it very well. It's a pity that he still underestimated the ability of the purple crystal scorpion. Lin Changqing has trained them to cooperate in hunting, and they will not rush in all at once, so all his measures are useless. Moreover, the 2 layers of diamond talismans attached to his body did not play much role, and were pierced by the big sun-purple light needle that was specially used to break shields and shields. Then, she let out a shrill scream, and her whole body began to twitch violently, obviously in extreme pain. Chen Ziya finally saw with her own eyes what the reaction was when being stabbed by these little guys. It was too horrible, and goosebumps appeared on her body. And the junior brother K screamed 2 or 3 times in succession, and then there was no movement. Things happened too fast here, and the 4 people in the battle were also frightened by the screams. Chen Ziya had a little experience and reacted a little faster than them. She immediately took out the first-level defense array plate and quickly arranged the thick Earth Mountain defense array. Human potential is indeed infinite. The speed at which this array was arranged was much faster than usual. After activating the array immediately and forming a translucent light shield, she hesitated for a moment and prepared to go over to meet them. She pasted 2 more diamond talismans on her body and slowly approached the battlefield. She didn't dare to walk too fast, fearing that the little guys would not keep up. It was mainly these little guys who gave her courage. The other 2 cultivators in the alchemy furnace looked at each other, and quickly withdrew without hesitation, and soon disappeared. The 3 of them breathed a sigh of relief. Huyana and another female cultivator hurriedly thanked Chen Ziya. "Thank you for saving my life, senior sister Chen. If I hadn't met you, I would have died here." Another female cultivator also said, "I am Zhao Mingxia, who lives in Jiufeng Mountain. I have met senior sister Chen. Thank you for saving my life. If you need to make an elixir in the future, you can come to Jiufeng Mountain to find me. I will definitely make sure that you are satisfied." Chapter 93, Reunion and Apology. Chen Ziya nodded and was about to speak when she suddenly thought of something and got startled. She quickly said, Quick, you guys step back, I can't control them." The 2 were also startled and quickly stepped back 20 or 30 meters. Huyana asked, "Senior sister Chen, what's going on?" Seeing them step back a little, she felt relieved and said with a sigh of relief, "A senior brother lent me some spirit insects, but I'm not their owner. I can only release them, but I can't control them." Chen Ziya knew that Lin Changqing was a low-key person and didn't like to cause trouble, so she didn't want others to know about Lin Changqing. Zhao Mingxia asked in surprise, "Are those spirit insects very powerful?" Chen Ziya glanced at the body of the Danding sect cultivator lying on the ground and said nothing. The 2 people from Qingyuan sect also understood what she meant and nodded to show their understanding. It was Huyana who spoke up again, "Senior sister Chen, you should pack up the spoils first. The screams just now were so shrill and the noise was quite loud. Let's leave here quickly." Chen Ziya nodded, and despite the discomfort, she took the storage bag, the spiritual plant bag, and the magic tools on the ground from the body of the Danding sect monk, and then used 2 fireballs to clean up the scene. After taking back the array plate, she hesitated for a moment and used the method of yesterday to put all the little guys into the spiritual beast bag. Huyana invited, "Senior sister Chen, come with us. It's better to have more people to take care of us." After thinking about it, Chen Ziya shook her head and refused. "I have an appointment with someone to meet up in Wansuhilan. It's not very convenient to take you there." After hearing this, the 2 were a little disappointed. It was not easy to have a senior sister from the same sect with such strong means. They thought that they could have one more person to help each other, which would be safer and they could find more spiritual medicines. However, since Chen Ziya had made an appointment with someone else, the 2 of them couldn't force it. After the 3 of them said goodbye, Chen Ziya continued to move forward to the Wansu forest. This time she learned to be smart and was more vigilant. She hid herself at the first sign of trouble, holding the defensive magic weapon and the spirit beast bag in her hands. The journey was relatively smooth, and she didn't encounter any real monks. Finally, she successfully arrived at the periphery of the Wanzhou forest and took out a double fishing pendant to look for Lin Changqing. At this time, Lin Changqing had already returned to the periphery of the Wanzhou forest and was resting in a relatively hidden place. Chuai, who was still cruising in the sky, first discovered Chen Ziya and notified Lin Changqing that someone was approaching. After checking, it was confirmed that it was Chen Ziya. Otherwise, if she came over by herself, she might be attacked by the purple crystal scorpion, which would be a big trouble. Lin Changqing quickly controlled the purple crystal scorpion group, and then appeared to greet Chen Ziya. Chen Ziya was frightened by the sudden appearance of the person. Under conditioned reflex, the spirit beast bag shook and directly released the purple crystal scorpion. Lin Changqing quickly revealed his identity. "Sister Shi, it's me," Lin Changqing said quickly. "Who are you?" "Brother Shi." "Senior brother Gao." Chen Ziya hurriedly confirmed. "It's me, Gao Shui has met junior sister," Lin Changqing said affirmatively. Chen Ziya was overjoyed and called out senior brother. Lin Changqing's sudden appearance just now frightened her a little. Now that she has confirmed Lin Changqing's identity, she is overjoyed again. In addition, she has walked on the brink of life and death twice in the past 2 days, and her voice can't help but choke up. Lin Changqing was shocked. Chen Ziya is such a cold person, but now she is like this. How much grievance has she suffered? She hurriedly asked, "Junior sister, what's wrong? Is she injured? Or have you been wronged?" Chen Ziya quickly restrained her emotions, shook her head and said, "I'm fine, senior brother, don't worry. It was Ziya who did something wrong before. Senior brother specially entered the secret realm to protect Ziya, and Ziya was still so cold to senior brother. It's Ziya's fault. I apologize to senior brother here." After speaking, she bowed to Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing was shocked and shook his hands repeatedly, saying, "Junior sister, don't be like this. Our two families have been friends for hundreds of years, there is no need to be like this. Besides, your nature is like this, and you don't need to change it for anyone. Cultivate the truth, and get rid of the false and keep the true. Junior sister just needs to maintain her original heart and nature." Chen Ziya shook her head and said, "It's just that the encounters in the past 2 days have given me some insights. Senior brother, don't worry." Lin Changqing breathed a sigh of relief and said, "That's good, it's getting dark, follow me to the temporary camp to rest. I see that junior sister looks a little tired." Chen Ziya blushed and nodded, "Thank you, senior brother." Then Lin Changqing recalled the purple crystal scorpion that Chen Ziya had released just now, and took her back to the place they had just chosen. The two arrived at the temporary camp. After Chen Ziya had a short rest and ate something, she felt much better. Lin Changqing couldn't help but ask, "Junior sister, what have you been through these days? You seem to have learned a lot." Chen Ziya blushed and said embarrassedly, "It's hard to explain. I thought I was well prepared, but I underestimated the danger. If it weren't for my senior brother's spirit scorpion to save me, I'm afraid Ziya would have died. By the way, senior brother, are these the soul-nourishing pills? If so, give them to the little guys who protected me." After saying that, he took out more than 20 bottles from the storage bag, and also released the corpses of the spirit beasts. Lin Changqing nodded and didn't hesitate to collect the corpses of the spirit beasts first, then took the bottle and opened it. It was the soul-nourishing pill. She opened her mouth to confirm, "It is the Yuling pill. Did you meet a disciple of the Yuling sect?" Chen Ziya nodded and said, "Yes. Thanks to the spirit scorpion that senior brother left behind to protect me, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous." Lin Changqing smiled and said, "Protecting junior sister is my mission on this trip, so please don't be shy. Let's look for it in the depths of the 10,000 bamboo forest tomorrow. I also want to see if we can find some main medicines to exchange for the Foundation Establishment pill," Chen Ziya hurriedly said. "I have some main medicines for the Foundation Establishment pill and the Purple Mansion Twangsun pill. I can share some with you." Lin Changqing waved his hand and said seriously, "Thank you for your kindness, junior sister, but I'm sorry that you can't accept these main medicines. We'll look for spiritual medicines tomorrow." Chen Ziya sighed lightly and said, "These main medicines are of little use to junior sister. They were taken back only because the Qingyuan sex team was led by our great-grandmother. If we get too few main medicines this time, she will lose face." So the main medicine will have the same effect if you give it to your senior brother. Why should you care so much about it? Lin Changqing shook his head and said, this is what my junior sister got through risking her life, and I can't accept it with my face. I'll find the spiritual medicine tomorrow, Chen Ziya said helplessly, then give all the main medicines you find tomorrow to your senior brother. I already have a lot, and there's no point in taking more. Lin Changqing thought for a moment and nodded, okay then. Thank you, junior sister, and I'll accept it with my face. Seeing that it was completely dark around, considering that Chen Ziya was probably not used to not having a good rest these days, Lin Changqing decided not to disturb her and let Chen Ziya rest early. So he continued, it's getting late now, and I've asked the purple crystal scorpion to set up 3 layers of defense and alert around, so you can rest assured. Chen Ziya also felt a little tired, nodded and said, thank you, senior brother, I'm a little tired. Lin Changqing nodded and took a rest not far away. Chen Ziya listened to the terrifying cries of an unknown monster coming from afar, and felt inexplicably safe and secure in her heart, and soon fell into deep sleep. Chapter 94, A Ray of Hope. The next morning, Lin Changqing finished his training, and Chen Ziya was ready to go at any time. Lin Changqing called back the purple crystal scorpion group, and then the two of them went to the bamboo forest to look for spiritual medicine. Because they had searched one side yesterday, Lin Changqing deliberately chose the other side that he had not searched before. Chuai was still cruising in the sky, providing Lin Changqing with early warnings. The two searched all the way and found several places, but they were all taken by others first, leaving only the seedlings. Lin Changqing was worried. If it was just Lin Changqing, none of these seedlings would be left, but now that Chen Ziya was by his side, he had to give up. After searching for 2 or 3 hours, he only harvested 1 3-leaf green Ganoderma. Chen Ziya brought up the old matter again and wanted to give Lin Changqing the main medicine in his storage bag, but was still rejected by Lin Changqing. He continued to search for another 2 hours, but still had no harvest. Since he couldn't find it, Lin Changqing decided not to look for it anymore. Today is already the 5th day, and in another hour or 2, it will be dark. After discussing with Chen Ziya, we decided to go back and rest, and start heading to the center of the secret realm tomorrow. Then the two began to go to the outskirts of the bamboo forest, just when they were about to return to the temporary camp where they rested yesterday. Chuai reminded that there were 2 groups of people fighting ahead. Lin Changqing didn't want to cause trouble, so he adjusted the direction as usual to avoid it. Unexpectedly, just after walking 2 or 3 miles, Chuai gave another warning. It turned out that the 2 groups of people who had just fought, one group was defeated and fled, and someone happened to break into the vicinity of Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya. In this case, if they continue to move forward, they may be discovered by the newcomers. Lin Changqing simply stopped moving, released the purple crystal scorpion group, and then hid with Chen Ziya. Therefore, with Chen Ziya around, it was inconvenient to take out the light gauze magic weapon, so he could only use the invisibility talisman, and then try not to move to reduce the risk of being discovered. After a while, 2 monks chased and fled and broke into the side of Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya. At this time, Chen Ziya was shocked, because the person who was running away in front was Zhao Mingxia, who had just separated yesterday. I don't know why she appeared here. But now the situation is very urgent, not the time to worry about this. Chen Ziya quickly pulled Lin Changqing and whispered, Senior brother Gao, the female cultivator who ran away in front has some connection with me. Please save her. Lin Changqing didn't want to cause trouble, let alone these trivial matters, but since Chen Ziya asked, he couldn't refuse, so he could only reluctantly agree. It happened that the 2 people were approaching their location quickly. Lin Changqing nodded slightly to Chen Ziya, indicating that he would do it, and asked Chen Ziya not to move first. Then he took out 5 fireball talismans and gold silk escape light needles from the storage bag, and began to input spiritual energy to activate several spiritual talismans, and waited until the 2 people who were chasing entered a distance of 10 feet. 5 fireball spells rushed directly to the monks of the creation sect chasing behind, and then 3 gold silk escape light needles also turned into 3 arcs and shot away. The distance of 10 feet was neither far nor close, which gave the monks of the creation sect time to react. When they saw someone attacking them, they immediately controlled a defensive magic weapon to block in front of them. Boom, boom, boom. 5 consecutive violent sounds of fireballs were heard. The monks of the creation sect defended against the sudden attack of 5 fireballs, but their forward momentum was also interrupted. Moreover, the incident happened suddenly, and the defensive magic weapon was damaged after resisting 5 fireballs in a row. Of course, the most important thing was that the sound, light and flames of the fireballs just now also covered up the traces of the 3 golden escape light needles. By the time the monks of the creation sect found out, it was too late, and the escape light needles pierced through their brains. Chen Ziya also quickly showed up at this time and shouted, "Junior sister Zhao." Zhao Mingxia was overjoyed to see Chen Ziya, but she could no longer stop her tears and cried, "Senior sister Chen, please save senior sister Hu. There are 2 cultivators from the creation sect who are chasing her." Chen Ziya had no choice but to ask Lin Changqing for help again. She looked at him and said, "Senior brother Gao." Lin Changqing was speechless and said, "This is in the bamboo forest. I don't know where they ran to. I'll go there to find them. Besides, I'm here to protect you." "What will you do if I leave?" Chen Ziya pleaded. "I know that you will be able to find her with the help of the spirit beast. I will stay in the magic circle first to ensure my safety. I beg you to save her life." Zhao Mingxia also pleaded with Lin Changqing, "Senior brother, please, from now on, I will go through fire and water for you. Please help, save senior sister Hu." Lin Changqing sighed and said helplessly, "Okay. Junior sister, you will set up the formation here. I will leave some spirit scorpions to protect you." After that, he quickly took back 100 purple crystal scorpions, leaving only 24 to protect Chen Ziya. Before leaving, he asked Zhao Mingxia for a token to prove his identity. In order to avoid wasting time explaining to that junior sister Hu that he was here to save her. Zhao Mingxia heard this and quickly took off a jade pendant from her waist and gave it to Lin Changqing. After Lin Changqing told Chen Ziya to protect himself, he immediately took the jade pendant token given by Zhao Mingxia and quickly went in the direction indicated by Chuai. Seeing Lin Changqing leaving quickly, Zhao Mingxia said with some concern, "Senior sister Chen, can the senior brother succeed?" Chen Ziya began to lay out the defensive array while talking to Zhao Mingxia. "Now only senior brother Gao can save junior sister Hu's life, but he is not sure to save her, so if he fails, I hope you won't be surprised." Zhao Mingxia shook her head and said, "How could it be? He saved my life, I can still tell right from wrong. But why haven't I heard of such a powerful master in the sect before?" Chen Ziya's face was a little red, and she said embarrassedly, "This is a helper specially invited by my grandmother because she was afraid that something would happen to me in the secret realm." Zhao Mingxia was shocked and said, "Where did he come from? He is actually much stronger than the sect disciples." Chen Ziya shook her head and stopped talking. She concentrated on arranging the array. She knew that Lin Changqing didn't want others to know his identity, so she didn't say anything. On the other side, Lin Changqing learned from Chuai that there were 3 monks chasing 5 or 6 miles away, and they should be the people Lin Changqing was looking for. Fortunately, they were chasing each other, not running at full speed, otherwise Lin Changqing would not be able to catch up, and he ran towards the battlefield at full speed. When the distance was about the same, Lin Changqing began to inject spiritual energy into the thunder horn. With the coordination of Babe, a Jiangjing divine thunder was quickly generated, but it was not released. The first 2 monks who entered the range of Lin Changqing's consciousness were a man and a woman from the creation sect. Soon Lin Changqing locked the male monk with his consciousness. Then, with a thought, the Jiangjing divine thunder shot out, and soon there was a loud bang, and the locked creation sect monk's body was immediately torn into pieces. This loud noise scared the remaining 2 female monks present. Of course, the remaining creation sect female monk also reacted quickly. She realized that the enemy had come to support her, her face changed drastically, and she turned around and ran away immediately. But how could Lin Changqing leave behind an enemy who had seen him take action? After taking a look, Hu Yana, who was standing aside, left a sentence, "Chen Ziya and a junior sister named Zhao asked me to save you." After saying that, she threw down the jade pendant token she had asked for from junior sister Zhao, and quickly chased after the fleeing female cultivator. In just one sentence, the female cultivator had already fled 20 or 30 meters, but it was useless, and she was still within the range of Lin Changqing's consciousness. After a dozen breaths, the thunder horn formed a new Jiangjing divine thunder, and Lin Changqing shot it out without hesitation. With a loud bang, the locked female cultivator was immediately torn into pieces, following the footsteps of the male cultivator. Lin Changqing sighed, resisted the discomfort, collected the storage bag, the spiritual plant bag, and the scattered magic tools on the ground, and then cleaned up the scene with a few fireballs. After scanning the spiritual consciousness and finding nothing missing, he returned to Huyana's side. It was not until this time that Huyana completely reacted and knew that she was saved. She relaxed and sat on the ground. Lin Changqing ignored her and went to collect the storage bag, spiritual plant bag and magic tools left by the male monk. He collected all the valuables. These were the spoils of Lin Changqing's long-distance rescue, so they couldn't be wasted. Then he used several fireballs to clean up the scene until there was no trace of the Jingjing Divine Thunder. Chapter 95, Unexpected Gains. After cleaning up the scene, Lin Changqing returned to Huyana's side. Seeing that she was still slumped on the ground, he shook his head and asked calmly, "Junior sister, are you okay?" Huyana was still in shock. When she heard the voice, she realized that an ordinary-looking cultivator was standing in front of her and said something to her. Although this person looked very ordinary, for some reason, Huyana felt very relieved. She felt that this person could definitely protect her, and she was now sure that she would never forget this face in her life. She stood up quickly and said, "Thank you for saving my life, senior brother. Huyana, will do anything for you in the future." Lin Changqing nodded and said, "Junior sister you are too polite. Let's go back and meet up with Chen Ziya and the others first, otherwise it will be inconvenient when it gets dark." Huyana nodded and said, "Okay, I will listen to you, senior brother. Please lead the way." Under Chui's guidance, Lin Changqing and Huyana spent some time and finally returned to Chen Ziya and the others. Along the way, Huyana wanted to ask Lin Changqing's name several times and find out which peak of Qingyuan sect Lin Changqing was practicing in, but Lin Changqing was always on the road and didn't give her a chance to speak. Finally, they returned to the place where Lin Changqing had just left. Senior sister Zhao Mingxia rushed out of the defensive magic circle and gave Huyana a big hug. She cried with joy and said excitedly, that's great, we are all alive. I thought we were dead this time." Huyana also hugged Zhao Mingxia tightly, and said happily, "I'm fine, thank you. Chen Ziya also walked out of the magic circle and said happily to Huyana, "Congratulations, junior sister, you have successfully escaped danger and returned." Huyana quickly let go of Zhao Mingxia, and said to Chen Ziya with a serious face, "Senior sister has saved Yana again. I don't know how to repay you. I will report to Master and Grandmaster when I go back, and ask the two elders to come forward to thank senior sister." After that, she also gave Chen Ziya a very formal salute. Chen Ziya quickly dodged, refusing to accept her greeting, and said, "You know I am not good at fighting. It was senior brother Gao who rushed a long distance to save you. I was just helping you at most. Besides, you and I have known each other for many years, and I can't just watch you fall in front of me. So junior sister, don't take it too seriously." Lin Changqing saw that the women were talking, but he didn't participate. He went to pick up the spoils from the monk of the creation sect. Then he used a fireball to clean up the scene, searched with his spiritual sense, and found nothing wrong. Then he was relieved, and began to recall the remaining purple crystal scorpions. Looking at the three women who were still talking to each other, Lin Changqing interrupted them directly, "Junior sisters, it's getting dark, we should change places and prepare a camp for tonight." Lin Changqing interrupted their conversation, but they didn't feel unhappy. Instead, they respected Lin Changqing very much and agreed in unison. Chen Ziya quickly began to recycle the defense array. Afterwards, everyone discussed it and decided to return to the camp where Lin Changqing and his group had camped last night. Since they had come to an agreement, they would not waste time and set off quickly. Led by Lin Changqing, the four of them headed towards the camp where they had camped last night and soon arrived. The three female cultivators quickly set up a place for the four of them to rest, while Lin Changqing only released the purple crystal scorpions to form 3 layers of defense and early warning, and there was nothing else to do. Thinking of the storage bags that he had just harvested and had not opened, he decided to open them all while he had time. He made up his mind and began to sacrifice and refined several storage bags and spirit plant bags one by one, and then dumped all the things on the ground. It took some time to finally complete everything. There were really a lot of things. There were 26 or 7 magic tools alone, and there were quite a few attack magic tools and defense magic tools. Many defense magic tools had been damaged. It seemed that they had harvested a lot of cultivators. There are even more elixirs, such as Key Gathering Pill, Key Recovery Pill, Rejuvenation Pill, Jade Healing Pill, and there are 8 or 9 bottles of each, and more than 10 bottles, and even more than 20 bottles of Nurturing Spirit Pill. Now Lin Changqing's storage bag is filled with nurturing spirit pill. There are also many spiritual stones. There are about 5 or 6,000 low-grade spiritual stones gathered together, and there are 11 medium-grade spiritual stones. With the spiritual stones from the last time, there are already many spiritual stones in the storage bag. The next is the highlight of opening the jade box. There are at least 300 jade boxes here, but many of them should be empty. It took some time to open them all, and the harvest is really good. There are a total of 75 spiritual medicines, 18 of which are the main medicines of Foundation Building Pill and Purple Mansion Twinkswin Pill, and the other 57 are ordinary mature spiritual medicines. I will carefully distinguish them when I have time to go back. The main ingredients include 4 foundation building fruits, 5 purple monkey flowers, 6 3-leaf green Ganoderma, and 3 golden silk lotus. With the 2 in the storage bag, Lin Changqing can now apparently exchange for 6 foundation building pills. This is too important for the Lin family. But the problem is that if we bring so many foundation building pills back, it will be too unsafe on the road, so we still have to think of a way to solve it. At this time, Chen Ziya and the other 2 had already cleaned up the place. Seeing that Lin Changqing was checking the harvest, the 3 of them also gathered around. Huyana said, "Brother, these magic tools have the marks of various sects, and they need to be processed before they can be used again. If you trust me, I can help you deal with it, or exchange it for spirit stones." Lin Changqing was overjoyed when he heard it. He was ready to throw them all into the deep pit for Lin Changqing to absorb, but he didn't expect to have such an unexpected harvest. He quickly said, "What's there to disbelieve? I'll have to trouble you, junior sister. Just change them all into spirit stones, and keep 3 layers for you as hard work fee." When Huyana heard this, her face flushed red, and tears of anger welled up in her eyes. She tried hard to hold back and said, "Is my life so worthless in your eyes? Do you think I'm the kind of person who is only interested in profit? You saved me, and I'm willing to help you with some chores within my ability. How about hard work fee?" At this time, Chen Ziya also said, "Junior sister whose great-grandmaster and great-grandmother have been friends for many years, and they are also 4th-rank weapon refiners of Qingayan sect. Therefore, many of their disciples are weapon refiners, and they have special channels to deal with this kind of magic tools. Helping you deal with these magic tools can be said to be a piece of cake, so don't be so polite." Lin Changqing was a little embarrassed and said, "I'm really sorry for misunderstanding you. I just felt that I couldn't let you work so hard for nothing, so I gave you the hard work fee according to the rules outside. I didn't think too much about it. Please don't mind. I'm sorry to bother you with these broken magic tools." Huyana felt better. After thinking for a while, she mustered up the courage to say, "I'm willing to help you, brother. I haven't asked you your name yet, and which peak you practice on. I can send the spirit stones to you when the time comes." After saying this, Huyana felt her cheeks were hot, and it was so hot that it was horrible. Now it was Lin Changqing's turn to be embarrassed, and he could only look at Chen Ziya with a look of help. Seeing this scene, Huyana's heart sank to the bottom, and she felt as if her heart was about to break. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96, Shelter. Chen Ziya explained, "Senior Brother Gao's full name is Go Dushui, and he is not a disciple of Qingayan sect. Instead, he is an expert that Grandma specially invited from outside to protect Ziya. This trip to the secret realm involves disciples from the 6 major sects, so it is not convenient to disclose other information about Senior Brother Gao. After Junior Sister who has dealt with those magic weapons, just hand over the spirit stones to me, and then I will ask Grandma to pass them to Senior Brother Gao." Lin Changqing also said, "Because those who were killed this time were disciples of the 6 major sects, in order not to bring the trouble in the secret realm outside. Please don't disclose any of my information to outsiders." After listening to this, Huyana felt much better. The situation should not be what she thought. She quickly made a promise, "I promise not to tell anyone. If I leak any information about you, I will die on the spot." Zhao Mingxia also made a promise, "The same goes for me. If I leak any information about you, I will die on the spot." This made Lin Changqing feel much more relieved. After all, there is no harm in being cautious, especially when the Lin family is still so weak. Zhao Mingxia continued, "Brother, If you want to refine any elixir in the future, you can come to me. I guarantee that you will be satisfied." After listening to this, Lin Changqing said happily, "Thank you, junior sister Zhao. I will definitely ask you for help in the future." Chen Ziya asked at this time, "Two junior sisters, didn't we just separate yesterday? Why did you come to Wanzhulan?" Huyana said embarrassedly. "Senior sister said to meet up with others here, and we don't have any suitable place to go, so she thought of meeting you here. She should be from Qingyuan sect, so she followed here too, wanting to take care of each other." After listening, Chen Ziya nodded and said, "What are your plans for the future?" Zhao Mingxia asked with a smile. "Senior sister, can you let us stay with you? I promise to be obedient and follow your arrangements." Huyana also looked at Chen Ziya expectantly and said, "Yes, senior sister, take us with you. It will be safer with more people." Chen Ziya said helplessly, "This is not something I can decide." After that, she looked at Lin Changqing. Zhao Mingxia and Huyana also turned to look at Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing was also very helpless, so he decided to make it clear. He said, "I accepted Senior Chen Jiayi's invitation this time to protect Junior Sister Chen to find the Jiang Pool and soak in the purple spirit liquid. Tomorrow we plan to head to the center of the secret realm. At that time, we will definitely meet monks who are also looking for the Jiang Pool, and a fierce battle is inevitable. Moreover, those who dare to find the Jiang Pool and the purple spirit liquid must be elite disciples of various sects, and their combat effectiveness must not be weak. Maybe we will meet the core disciples of various sects. In that case, I can't guarantee your safety at all. So it's too dangerous to follow us, which is much more dangerous than you are outside the secret realm." After listening to what Lin Changqing said, Huyana said without hesitation, "I am willing to follow Senior Brother Gao. Now there is no danger in the secret realm. Following Senior Brother Gao can at least get some protection, which is much safer than staying on the periphery by ourselves." Zhao Mingxia also said, "Yes, now there are groups in the secret realm. It is safer for us to follow Senior Brother Gao. Senior brothers and sisters, please take us in." After hearing what the two of them said, Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya looked at each other. Chen Ziya nodded slightly, and Lin Changqing understood what she meant. She said to Huyana and Zhao Mingxia, "Okay, I can promise to let you come with us, and I will try my best to protect you, but if we find the Jiang Pool..." Before Lin Changqing finished speaking, Huyana rushed to say, "Then let the senior sister and senior brother soak first, and let us soak if there is any extra." Zhao Mingxia also nodded and said, "That's right, let us soak if there is any extra. If we follow the senior brother, maybe we can really soak in the purple spirit liquid." Well, since they said so, Lin Changqing could no longer say no, and could only agree to their request to follow. The next morning, Lin Changqing completed his practice and began to summon the purple crystal scorpion group back, put them into the spirit insect bag, and threw some monster meat and spirit stones into it, letting them chew slowly. He summoned Chu Ai back and fed it some monster meat. The three female cultivators were ready and could set off at any time. Today is the 6th day. We are heading to the center of the secret realm. We will not go to any place where the main medicine or other spiritual medicine is produced. We will go straight to the destination. Chuai is still cruising in the sky to provide early warning. He adheres to the principle of not actively causing trouble and avoiding monks and monsters as much as possible. The journey of this day is quite smooth. Several waves of monks and monsters encountered were perfectly avoided under Chuai's early warning. When we stopped to rest at night, we had already traveled 70% of the way. According to the mark on the map, we estimated that we should be able to reach the center around noon tomorrow. It is the 7th day in the secret realm. Today, we met more monks than yesterday. Basically, we will meet a group of monks every 100 or so miles. There are as few as 2 people and as many as 7 or 8 people. It seems that there are quite a few people who want to play with the purple spiritual liquid. This makes Lin Changqing feel very nervous. If he hadn't promised his great-grandmother, Lin Changqing would have wanted to back out. However, at this point, I can only bite the bullet and rush to the place quickly to find a favorable position so that Chen Ziya can set up a defensive array. I speeded up my journey and finally arrived in front of a huge and unparalleled array at almost noon. This array should be in a circle, and the area is many times larger than the family's Jiuquan array. Anyway, after getting close, I feel very small. I stretched out my hand and tried it a little harder. There was an invisible barrier, which was a little soft but felt very tough. This barrier should not disappear until after midnight tonight. After discussing with several junior sisters, it was decided that Chen Ziya would choose a more secluded place and set up a first-level defensive array, the thick earth-guarding mountain array. Then several people stayed inside to rest and waited until tomorrow morning to enter inside to find the Jiang pool. After the discussion, they took action immediately. The four of them turned around for more than an hour and finally found a suitable location. Lin Changqing first released the purple crystal scorpions, and let them form a three-layer defense and early warning circle. Then Chen Ziya began to arrange the thick earth mountain defense formation. After completing it, she filled the spirit stones first. When needed, a spell could activate the formation. Huyana and Zhao Mingxia cleaned up the surroundings and made a place for 4 people to rest at night. After Lin Changqing released the purple crystal scorpions, there was nothing to do. However, considering that there are still several hours between now and tomorrow morning when we enter the central area, we can't waste it in vain. We should use it to practice. The Thunder Sutra must not be practiced here. The movement is too loud. Moreover, now in the secret realm, we definitely can't use up all our energy. We can only practice the 5 elements Return to Origin Sutra. Seeing that Lin Changqing was so hardworking and diligent, and even this little bit of time was used up, the 3 people were deeply impressed. After looking at each other in silence, they also followed suit and practiced. Chapter 97 Holding Hands. A few hours passed quickly, and everyone had already started to rest at night. Unexpectedly, at about midnight, a sharp and shrill scream suddenly came from the periphery of the camp. It was heard, and soon another one came, and this one could be heard to be from a different person. Lin Changqing immediately knew that someone was approaching and was dealt with by the purple crystal scorpion. He controlled the purple crystal scorpion to prevent it from stabbing them again, otherwise it would make screams again, which would continue to expose the location of their camp and might attract other people with ulterior motives. Lin Changqing comforted several junior sisters and let them enter the defense formation. Then he went over by himself and found 2 Danding sect monks lying on the ground motionless, obviously unconscious. He did not dare to be careless, and used his spiritual sense to scan the range of 240 meters in front, behind, left and right. After confirming again and again that there was no one else, 2 golden silk escape light needles flew out, pierced through their brains, and ended the lives of the 2 Danding sect monks. Only then did Lin Changqing dare to approach. I put away their storage bags, spiritual plant bags and magic tools on the ground, and threw 2 fireballs to clean up the scene. Just as I was about to go back, I suddenly had an idea that I could take advantage of this opportunity to take out a batch of magic tools in the space and hand them over to Junior Sister Hu for processing. I did it right away. After using my spiritual sense to confirm that there was no one around, I quickly took out a storage bag containing the magic tools from the space. I just said hello to Lu Yaoqiang's family and immediately came out of the space. When I returned to the camp, the 3 junior sisters were in the thick earth mountain defense formation. I told them that everything was fine, it had been handled, and they could come out. Then I began to sacrifice the storage bags and spiritual plant bags that I had just harvested, put the pills and spiritual stones into my own storage bags, and handed all the magic tools to Junior Sister Hu. The most important thing is that I harvested 7 more main medicines. I will exchange them for foundation building pills at that time. Now I can exchange 8 or 9 foundation building pills. But safety is a big problem. It's really a headache. I don't know if the harvest will be checked on the spot after leaving the secret realm. If the harvest is lost in front of everyone, Lin Changqing will be in trouble. Let everyone continue to rest and get enough energy. Tomorrow, we have to go through the maze and enter the center of the secret realm to find the Jiang pool. A few hours passed in the blink of an eye. Today is the 8th day in the secret realm. In the morning, Lin Changqing, who had completed his training early, stood in the camp and looked at the huge magic circle covering the center of the secret realm. He was filled with emotion. He didn't know which sect built such a huge magic circle. It has been at least thousands of years and is still running. It must be a very great existence, but even such a great existence cannot escape the erosion of the long river of time and still disappears. I don't know if I can lead my family to break this shackles of time. Transcend the world, live forever, and be immortal. Brother, what are you thinking about? Huyana saw Lin Changqing staring at the huge magic circle not far away in a daze, and couldn't help asking him. In fact, she often secretly observed him these 2 days and found that he and senior sister Chen definitely had no private relationship, At least not now, which gave her great encouragement. She also had some vague impressions of senior brother Gao's true appearance. She remembered that when she was waiting in the sex square and outside the secret realm, senior sister Chen stood with a male monk. Although she didn't look closely, he shouldn't look so ordinary, so Hu Yana guessed that senior brother Gao might have changed his face or was wearing a human skin mask or something like that. She especially wanted to see what he really looked like, but she also knew that if she rashly proposed it, she would definitely be rejected. It seemed that she could only find a way with senior sister Chen. Lin Changqing heard the sound of Hu Yana talking to him. This interrupted his thinking, and of course he couldn't answer that. I was thinking about how to lead my family to immortality. So he changed his mind and said, nothing, I'm just thinking about the situations I might encounter after I go in, so I can be mentally prepared. Hu Yana chuckled and said, I believe that senior brother will be able to handle it with ease. I knew it when I first met senior brother. Lin Changqing shook his head and said, junior sister, you are too kind. I'm not as powerful as you think. At this time, Zhao Mingxia said with a smile, senior brother is definitely the most powerful. As long as senior brother waves his hand, the divine thunder will come immediately, and the cultivators of other sects will be scared and cry for their parents. Hearing this, Lin Changqing felt embarrassed and explained, the divine thunder is assisted by a special spiritual weapon, and only a few of them can be fired. Junior sister, don't get me wrong, senior brother is really not as powerful as you think. Not wanting to continue discussing this issue, he looked at Chen Ziya and asked, junior sister, you are a master of formations. How do you think we should break through this formation? Chen Ziya thought for a while and said, in a super large maze like this, the most feared thing is being teleported and lost. It would be fine if we could get through it quickly. If we can't break through in a short time, we will probably get completely lost. The built-in short-range teleportation array will separate those who try to break through the array together, making it easier for those who are guarding the array to defeat them one by one. However, a formation like this that has not been maintained for thousands of years must have been damaged in many places, and its power may have dropped to a very low level. Otherwise, if we go in with those of us in the key refining stage, we will definitely not be able to get out. Then what should we do? Zhao Mingxia asked. She was most afraid of being separated from everyone. Chen Ziya glanced at her and said, the easiest way is to hold hands and try not to let go. Lin Changqing nodded and said, if that's the case, it's relatively simple. Everyone should stick 2 defensive talismans on their bodies and prepared defensive magic tools. I'll be in the front, followed by junior sister Chen. You two can arrange the rest of the order by yourselves. Don't let go, otherwise you may not be able to find them. At this time, Hu Yana said, senior brother, can you put one of your spirit insects on each of us, so that if we get separated, there is still some hope of finding them. After saying that, she looked at Lin Changqing expectantly. Lin Changqing thought for a moment, nodded, and then put a purple crystal scorpion on each of their shoulders. Then he told them to stay there and not leave. Even if they left, they had to quickly return to their original positions. Hu Yana and Zhao Mingxia looked at the lavender crystal scorpions on each other's shoulders, and couldn't help reaching out to touch them. They were immediately stopped by Lin Changqing. They were not their owners, and it was too dangerous to touch them. Being pricked once was enough for them to remember for the rest of their lives. At this time, Hu Yana and Zhao Mingxia had also discussed the order of positions. Zhao Mingxia led Chen Ziya, and Hu Yana was at the end. Since it had been decided, let's set off immediately and not waste any more time. They summoned Shui back and put him in the spirit beast bag. Then the 4 of them lined up and walked hand in hand into the maze. Sure enough, the invisible barrier had disappeared. They broke in directly. At this time, Chen Ziya began to command Lin Changqing, brother, turn left after 12 steps, after a while, turn right after 10 steps. Turn left after 36 steps. In this way, they walked for more than 2 hours and didn't know how far they had walked, but they still didn't get out. Chapter 98, Enlightenment disappears. Chen Ziya's eyes were red and her face was flushed with excitement. It was obvious that she was calculating at a high speed in her mind. At this time, Lin Changqing did not dare to disturb her and could only wait for her next instruction. The two held hands together. Because of Chen Ziya's excitement, she grabbed them with great force. If Lin Changqing had not practiced a little, he might have really scratched her skin. Fortunately, this process was over in more than 2 hours, because they finally walked out of the range of the maze. On the contrary, Chen Ziya looked a little disappointed. Chen Ziya should have been in the super maze just now, and she had verified her learning of the formation, and it seemed that she had also comprehended something. But she had been delayed in the formation for a long time, but now that she came out, Lin Changqing could not care about anything. Huyana and Zhao Mingxia were highly nervous along the way, fearing that something would go wrong and they would be teleported away. They were very nervous. As soon as they came out, they found a place to sit down and rest. They were obviously exhausted. Lin Changqing quickly released Chu Yi from the spirit beast bag and let it fly high in the sky to warn. After scanning the surroundings with his spiritual sense and confirming that there was no danger, Lin Changqing also found a place to sit down and rest. Chen Ziya sat on the ground in deep thought. It seemed that her mind was still in the maze and she couldn't come back to her senses for a while. Lin Changqing didn't disturb her and just took a rest. After a long time, Chen Ziya finally came back to her senses, with a smile on her face. It seemed that she must have gained some enlightenment in the maze and her array skills had improved. Lin Changqing chuckled and said, "Congratulations, junior sister, your attainments in formation have improved again. It seems that you are not far from becoming a second-level formation master." Chen Ziya said embarrassedly, "I'm sorry, senior brother Gao and the two junior sisters. I seem to be possessed just now. I could have come out earlier. I made everyone suffer." Huyana chuckled and said, "It's okay, senior sister. We will just walk a few more steps. You may only have this opportunity once in your life, so of course you can't miss it." Zhao Mingxia also said, "Yes, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If it were me, I would not be willing to come out." Chen Ziya spoke again and said, "Thank you for your understanding, two junior sisters. This formation is at least a 5th-level formation. No one has maintained it for a long time, and its power is less than 1,000th. Only a part of the formation base is still running, and it can only play some basic roles. What a pity. But there is also good news. This formation can at least block a lot of cultivators who know nothing about formations. It is enough for them to stay inside. After 10 days, they will be automatically teleported out of the secret realm. In this way, we will face fewer opponents." When everyone heard this, it was indeed good news. Everyone was overjoyed, especially the two junior sisters, who were even happier. This way, they would be safer. Lin Changqing calculated the time and thought that they could probably travel another 2 or 3 hours. He didn't want to waste time and interrupted their conversation. After explaining his intention to them, everyone agreed to hurry up and travel. Chu Yi still provided early warnings in the sky, and the same principle of not actively causing trouble. Although they have entered the center of the secret realm, the area is still very wide. Some building wreckage can be seen along the way, but no one is interested in stopping to search. These should have been visited many times by the predecessors before, and there must be no good things left. It is better to go deep inside to find the Jiang pool. Even if the Jiang pool cannot be found, searching inside will definitely yield more than these peripheral ones. There were very few monsters in the center of the secret realm, and no one was encountered for half a day. The cultivators avoided 2 waves under the early warning of the first day. They advanced all the way to the central position. After more than 2 hours of driving, the sky began to darken. The early warning range of the first day was greatly reduced. After discussing with the 3 sisters, Lin Changqing decided to find a place to camp and rest. They deliberately found a more secluded place and released the purple crystal scorpion group. Chen Ziya arranged a defensive magic circle, while Huyana and Zhao Mingxia cleaned up a place to rest at night. Lin Changqing took out a jade slip given by Senior Chen Jie and read it carefully again. He wanted to find out if there were any clues about the Jiang pool. After reading it over and over again 2 or 3 times, they all said that they found it suddenly, and there was no mention of any specific buildings or catching signs around. Why did it feel a bit like being teleported there suddenly? After summoning 3 junior sisters, the 4 of them sat together. Lin Changqing shared his guess after checking the jade slips with everyone to see if they had any clues that Lin Changqing didn't know. Huyana did provide an explanation. She heard her master say, "It is only possible to find the Jiang pool in the central core of the secret realm. In other words, no matter what, we must get closer to the central core. So if everyone's destination is the same, then when we gather together, there will still be a life and death fight. Now we can only go there early and try our luck. I hope that not so many people have found it yet, and everyone must be prepared for the battle." Because they know that they will rush to the central core area of the secret realm today, the possibility of encountering a battle has greatly increased, so everyone is not resting so peacefully, especially the 3 female cultivators. Early in the morning, the 3 female cultivators got up and prepared. As soon as Lin Changqing finished practicing, everyone immediately packed up and set off. Just to be early and not encounter too many cultivators. Today is the 9th day, and it should be the most important day. I hope everyone will be fine. Rushing to the destination quickly all the way, when approaching the core position, the surrounding building ruins gradually became scarce. We have avoided 2 waves of monks through Chuai's warning. It can be predicted that everyone will meet in the center. After walking a long distance, we finally entered the core area. Chuai's warnings became more and more frequent. Until finally we saw other monks in sight, but fortunately, everyone kept their distance from each other. Until more than a mile to the left of Lin Changqing and his team, 2 monks suddenly disappeared. Lin Changqing couldn't believe his eyes and immediately contacted Chuai. After confirming that 2 people had suddenly disappeared, Lin Changqing reacted and knew that his guess was correct. To find Jiang Pool, you must get a teleportation to find it. I immediately told the 3 junior sisters about this discovery, and then the 4 of them rushed to the place where the 2 monks disappeared just now to check and confirm that there were traces of people passing by on the ground, and they suddenly disappeared here. Lin Changqing asked the 3 to get closer to avoid being separated by a sudden teleportation, and then began to stick a few defensive talismans on his body and told the 3 junior sisters to start preparing. He took out the thunder horn again and began to inject the 5 elements of spiritual energy into it. Babe controlled it to form a Zhengjing divine thunder, which was not fired. He put another key restoring pill into his mouth. He was prepared for the encounter that might come suddenly. The crowd continued to move forward and began to circle in the core area. After more than an hour, a sudden wave enveloped several people, and then the 4 people disappeared on the spot. In the blink of an eye, the 4 people arrived at a valley, but there were many people in the valley. With Lin Changqing and his group, there were now 5 or 6 groups of people, with as few as 2 people and as many as 4 or 5 people. Everyone was at the edge of the valley. In the center of the valley, there was a small pool with 12 stone pillars around it. It seemed to be the base of some kind of magic array. Could this be the Jiang pool? There were already 7 or 8 bodies lying around the pool, including those from the Qingyuan sect, the Xianxing sword sect, and the creation sect. Now no one dared to approach the pool anymore. Everyone was in a stalemate. The atmosphere at the scene was solemn. In this situation, either there would be a melee and only a few people would be left to enjoy the purple spirit liquid, or everyone would cooperate and each group would be allocated a quota. But now no one was willing to take the lead. Chapter 99, A Heavy Blow to the True Transmission. The situation at the scene was like this. The 3 junior sisters were not the type to take the lead, and all stood quietly beside Lin Changqing. Now Lin Changqing would not take the lead either. He wished that no one would pay attention to him, because with the cover of the 3 junior sisters' figures, the spirit insect bag had been opened, and all the purple crystal scorpions had been released invisibly. It would take some time for them to all arrive at a position that Lin Changqing wanted. At this time, Hu Yana whispered to Lin Changqing, "Brother, I recognize the core disciples of 3 major sects. They are Su Danyang from Danding sect, Wu Shiki from Xianxing sword sect, and Mu Jiuyan from Xian'an sect. They are all very powerful people. Especially Wu Shiki is said to be practicing Xianxing Wanjian Sutra, and has condensed 9 natal flying swords. Brother must be careful." After listening, Lin Changqing nodded and said softly, "Thank you, sister. I know that I will not act rashly. Don't worry." Just at this time, the group of cultivators from Xian'an sect, one of the leading beautiful female cultivators, stood up, chuckled, and said, "Sister, Xian'an sect Mu Jiuyan, meet all the brothers and sisters. Everyone has seen the current situation. No one dares to trespass into Jiang Pool. Everyone can only be deadlocked here, and more people will come later. What I mean is that each group of us present should be allocated a quota for soaking in purple spirit liquid, and who will be soaked will be decided by the team members themselves. Now we have 6 teams, forming a temporary alliance. If anyone else comes in, we will drive them out of the valley or kill them together. What do you think, brothers and sisters?" At this time, a group of Danding sect monks wearing red clothes with gold edges whispered for a while. Then, a tall monk came out and said, "My younger brother Su Danang, meet you brothers and sisters. We have discussed it and think that what Sister Mu said makes sense. We all agree with Sister Mu's suggestion. A monk from Xiangxing sword sect also came out. He was not very tall, but he looked very confident. He said, I, Wu Shiki, agree on behalf of our Xiangxing sword sect, but we want to be the first to soak in the purple spirit liquid. At this time, Chen Ziya, who was standing next to Lin Changqing, trembled. After Lin Changqing noticed it, he patted her arm gently. There were only 2 monks in the creation sect, and they quickly agreed, but they did not dare to make other requests. Of the remaining 3 people from the Yuling sect, a cultivator came out to express his agreement, but it seemed that they had not yet discussed who would go to soak in the purple spirit liquid. However, this was an internal matter, and no one was paying attention to them. Now only the 4 of Lin Changqing had not expressed their opinions, and Lin Changqing knew that it was time for him to come forward. Holding the thunder horn in his hand, he took 2 steps forward and said, we also agree, but my junior sister must soak first. Otherwise, after you, a grown man, soak, let a female cultivator go in to soak. What kind of talk is this? Wu Shiki laughed a few times, stared at Lin Changqing and said, a nameless person who doesn't even dare to say his name dares to make such a request. Do you think your life is too long? Lin Changqing shook his head, not wanting to pay attention to him, and continued. If everyone has no problem, my junior sister will go to soak first. Wu Shiki was furious. He didn't expect that the kid from the Qingyuan sect opposite him would dare to ignore him. With a thought, 6 flying swords shot towards Lin Changqing, with the intention of killing Lin Changqing on the spot. Seeing him take action, Lin Changqing immediately fought back without hesitation. The Zhengjing Divine Thunder in the Thunder Horn was immediately locked and activated, and then the spiritual energy of the 3 thunder acupoints was immediately poured into the horn, preparing for the next Zhengjing Divine Thunder. More than 200 meters away, the Zhengjing Divine Thunder arrived in an instant, but this little time also gave Wu Shiki a breath of time to react. He was shocked, angry, anxious, regretful, and afraid. But it was too late to do anything. He could only roar, and then immediately controlled his remaining 3 natal flying swords to form a defensive sword formation to block his head. Bang! After a loud noise, the sword formation was broken, and the 3 flying swords were damaged and deformed, and were thrown in 3 directions. Although the sword formation blocked most of the power, the residual power of the Divine Thunder still fell on Wu Shiki, and his whole body was immediately covered with blood, and his body was thrown 7 or 8 meters away. The 2 companions around him were shocked and rushed over to catch him. The incident happened in just 2 or 3 breaths. The speed was so fast that the people around had no time to react before the winner was decided. One of the monks was holding Wu Shiki. Seeing that he was so seriously injured, he cried out in a sad voice, "Brother!" Then he rushed to fight Lin Changqing. Fortunately, Wu Shiki reached out and grabbed him at this time. He said with difficulty, "Don't go, you will die. Stay and protect me." After that, he fainted completely. On this side, the 6 flying swords lost the control of Wu Shiki and had basically no power. They were easily shot down by Lin Changqing. The Xiangxing sword sect monk who called Wu Shiki brother should have an unusual relationship with Wu Shiki. Now he was staring at Lin Changqing fiercely. Seeing him like this, Lin Changqing frowned slightly, and thought about it and ignored him. The whole audience was silent. It was really too much of an impact. The core disciple of the Xiangxing sword sect, who could be said to have the highest combat power in the audience, was defeated in one move and almost died on the spot. Everyone needed some time to digest it. For a moment, everyone was silent and no one dared to act rashly. Although the 3 sisters around Lin Changqing knew that senior brother Gao was quite powerful, they did not expect him to be so powerful. Chen Ziya was fine. After all, Lin Changqing had used Divine Thunder to break her defense array, so she was probably prepared. But Zhao Mingxia and Hu Yana almost jumped up and cheered. Zhao Mingxia felt safe because senior brother Gao was so powerful and her safety was guaranteed. Hu Yana was so excited that her face turned red and her body was shaking slightly. As for why, perhaps only she herself knew. Lin Changqing looked at Su Daniyang and Mu Jiuyan, raised the thunder horn in his hand, and said again, "Now. There should be no objection, right?" Mu Jiuyan also reacted at this time, seeing Lin Changqing looking at him, and hurriedly said, "This senior brother, what you said makes sense. Of course the girls should soak first. Senior brother, please do as you please." Su Daniyang also said, "You go first." Lin Changqing nodded and said, "Thank you for your understanding." Then he took the 3 junior sisters to the Jiang pool. When he arrived at the pool, he said to Chen Ziya, "Junior sister, go in and soak." Chen Ziya looked at Lin Changqing gratefully, not only because Lin Changqing gave her the only chance, but because Lin Changqing knew that he would not soak in the purple spirit liquid that others had already soaked in, and he forcefully fought for the first opportunity to soak in the spirit liquid for himself. Keeping this gratitude in his heart, knowing that time is precious, he quickly packed up and entered the Jiang pool. A soft purple energy poured into his mind, and Chen Ziya soon fell asleep. Lin Changqing stood by the Jiang pool with a thunder horn in his hand to protect Chen Ziya. The scene fell into silence and no one spoke. Only the person from the Xianxing sword sect was busy stopping the bleeding, applying medicine, and bandaging Wu Shiki. Another cultivator from the Xianxing sword sect was busy helping Wu Shiki recover the 9 flying swords of his life, including the 6 that were shot down by Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing signaled Hu Yana and Zhao Mingxia to recover the storage bags and spiritual plant bags and several magic tools from the Qingyuan sect cultivators on the ground. Other things that were not from the Qingyuan sect were not touched. Seeing that Lin Changqing and his men were acting in a measured manner, the other teams were a little relieved. They were afraid that this man would bully the weak and take all the benefits, so they would have to fight again. But no one could guarantee that they would have the last laugh. Now looking at his behavior, he should not do things to the extreme, so everyone remained silent to maintain this balance. Chapter 100, Blatant Favoritism. The scene was silent. It was Mu Jiuyan from Xian'an sect who broke the dull atmosphere. He chuckled and said, "Brother from Qingyuan sect, could you please give me your name? It will also be convenient for me to have a good relationship with you when I meet you again in the future." Lin Changqing really didn't want to attract attention, so he shook his head and said, "Sister, you are too kind. I just rely on a special spiritual weapon. My own strength is not worth mentioning. I am not worthy of your humbleness. As for good relationship, there is no need to mention it. Didn't you see that I didn't even dare to mention my name just now?" After listening, Mu Jiuyan rolled her eyes at Lin Changqing and said, "Brother, there is no need to be modest. You must be the core disciple of Qingyuan sect. You look down on ordinary disciples like us, right? You don't even want to leave a name." Lin Changqing was speechless. This woman was really powerful. She put him on the fire with just a few words. Lin Changqing sighed and said, "It's up to you whether you believe it or not. Can't you see my cultivation level?" Just at this time, someone else was teleported in. Lin Changqing's heart tightened. I hope no one will break this balance. He looked carefully and saw 4 people teleported in. They were all disciples of Xian'an sect, 3 women and 1 man, 2 of whom were acquaintances of Lin Changqing. Mu Xiaoxiao and Lu Yuling just came to their senses and found that they had come to Valley, and they saw Lin Changqing at first sight. Mu Xiaoxiao shouted happily, "Master, senior brother Gao." Lu Yuling was also very happy to see Lin Changqing, and she also shouted, "Senior brother Gao." Lin Changqing frowned and said helplessly, "Didn't I tell you not to go deeper?" At this time, Mu Xiaoxiao saw the female cultivator soaking in the pool behind Lin Changqing, and knew that this was the person Lin Changqing wanted to protect this time. He couldn't help but compare her with himself. He was so absorbed in it that he didn't pay attention to what Lin Changqing said. Seeing this, Lu Yuling could only answer, "We met 2 fellow disciples we know, and we can basically protect ourselves. So Xiaoxiao wanted to find her sister, so we came in." Mu Jiuyan saw that the people who came were actually her sister and junior sister, and she hurriedly greeted them. "Yuling, Xiaoxiao, you guys come over here." Lu Yuling and Mu Xiaoxiao only then noticed that there were so many people here, and there were fellow disciples here, and it turned out to be Mu Jiuyan they were looking for. Mu Xiaoxiao was even more happy. She immediately rushed to Mu Jiuyan and threw herself into her arms. "Sister, I almost didn't see you, but fortunately I met the master, senior brother Gao." Mu Jiuyan also hugged his sister. Hearing her say this, he couldn't help but glance at Lin Changqing and asked, "Did you meet anyone?" At this time, Lu Yuling and the other 2 also joined Mu Jiuyan's team. Now there were actually 9 cultivators in the Xian'an sect. Lu Yuling replied sadly, "We were ambushed by several monks from the Xianxing sword sect. 3 of our junior sisters died on the spot, and there has been no news about the other 3. It is estimated that they are in danger." Fortunately, Xiaoxiao was lucky and rushed out and met senior brother Gao. After hearing this, Mu Jiuan knew that the person guarding the Jiang pool was the senior brother Gao mentioned by her sister. She couldn't help but look at Lin Changqing with gratitude and said, "Thank you for your help, senior brother Gao. Jiuan will remember it in her heart and will repay you in the future." Hearing this, Lin Changqing shook his head and said, "I didn't save you, so you don't need to repay me, just don't make trouble for me." Lin Changqing deliberately answered like this, as a small reward for Mu Jiuan's words that he had put himself on the fire. Of course, such a straightforward answer almost made Mu Jiuan suffocate, but considering that he was her sister's savior, she didn't care about him. Seeing her sister speechless after being scolded by her master, Mu Xiaoxiao couldn't help laughing. It was rare to see her sister suffer a loss. She turned to Lin Changqing and asked, "Senior brother Gao, is the female cultivator in the pool the one you want to protect this time?" Lin Changqing glanced at her and nodded, "Yes. If you come in to soak in the purple spirit liquid later, I can also protect you." "I'm afraid you don't need me," Mu Xiaoxiao said happily. "Yes, I want senior brother Gao to protect me." Just after she finished speaking, she realized that the purple spirit liquid should be allowed to her sister, and said disappointedly, "Let her soak it. I don't need it." Hearing this, Lin Changqing glanced at the people of Xianan sect and said, "That's not necessarily true." At this time, Lu Yuling also told Mu Jiuan the specific situation of the ambush. At this time, she was staring at the three people from Xiangxing sword sect with anger on her face. He suppressed his anger and said to the three people from Xiangxing sword sect, "Go. Therefore, I will not kill you for the alliance just now, but I can't let you soak in the purple spirit liquid." The two awake monks from Xiangxing sword sect were also in a dilemma. They now had to take care of Wu Shiki, who was seriously injured and unconscious. Now there are a lot of enemies here again. Now they can't soak in the purple spirit liquid anymore. They don't know how to explain it when they go back. But facing so many people from Xianan sect, they definitely can't beat them. They can only hold the unconscious Wu Shiki, dare not say a word, and walk out of the valley in shame. Seeing this situation, Lin Changqing's heart moved, and some purple crystal scorpions followed them and left. If you don't cut the grass at the root, it will grow again in the spring breeze. Of course, the purple crystal scorpions will not act so quickly, and will wait until they leave a distance before taking action. At this time, Mu Jiuan said, "We Xianan sect want the quota of those people. Do you have any objections?" The two people from the creation sect quickly spoke up to express their agreement. Facing the Xianan sect with a large number of people, who dared to have any objections now? The three people from the Yuling sect also quickly expressed that they had no objection. Mu Jiuan looked at Su Daniyang from the Danding sect. Su Daniyang frowned and said, "This is not appropriate. Do you think you can do whatever you want just because you have more people? Aren't you afraid that we will join forces with senior brother Gao?" After listening to this, Mu Jiuan glared at him, then turned to look at Lin Changqing and asked, "What does senior brother Gao think?" Lin Changqing thought for a while before saying, "If this quota is given to Mu Xiaoxiao, I can agree. The implication is that if it were someone else, he would not agree." When Mu Xiaoxiao heard what Lin Changqing said, she was so happy that she almost jumped up. If it weren't for the wrong occasion, she would have wanted to dance a few dances for her master as a reward. The master is so good to her. This is a blatant preference. When Mu Jiuan heard this, questions kept flashing through his mind. What is his relationship with Xiaoxiao? Is he interested in Xiaoxiao? But now is not the time to think about this. She can only turn around and discuss with several fellow disciples around her. Each of them promised to give them some compensation, and finally agreed to give the quota to Mu Xiaoxiao. After confirming it, Mu Jiuan said, "Senior brother Gao, we have discussed it and the quota is given to Xiaoxiao." Lin Changqing nodded and said, "What are you waiting for? Let her come over now." Mu Jiuan said to Mu Xiaoxiao, "Go, be careful." Mu Xiaoxiao cheered and ran towards Lin Changqing. When she got to Lin Changqing, she couldn't help but want to pull Lin Changqing's clothes, but Lin Changqing dodged her. Mu Xiaoxiao said happily, "Senior brother Gao, thank you, you are so amazing. You helped me get this quota with just one sentence. Xiaoxiao will dance for you next time." Lin Changqing didn't say anything yet. Hyuna was so angry that she almost exploded. She couldn't help but scolded, "How can you be so shameless and dance for senior brother Gao? Who are you to him? Why do you want to dance for him?" Mu Xiaoxiao was a little confused by the scolding, But as a woman, she immediately realized that this woman might like her master, but she couldn't let her succeed, otherwise her life would be difficult. She directly counterattacked, "Of course I am seeing your brother Gao's person. It is natural for me to dance for him. He loves to watch me dance." Seeing this, Lin Changqing was a little angry and hurriedly interrupted them. "Both of you shut up, Musaya Oxeo, don't talk nonsense. When have I seen you dance? And don't you see what the environment and situation are now? Is this the time to be emotional and have conflicts? Are you going to give others an opportunity to take advantage of you? From now on, you are not allowed to speak anymore, just wait quietly." Seeing that Lin Changqing was angry, Musaya Oxeo swallowed her tongue and quickly stayed beside Lin Changqing honestly, not daring to speak. Huyana also knew that Lin Changqing was right. Now was definitely not the time to be upset. She had to suppress the many questions in her mind and stood there sulking without saying a word. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.